Hey, how you doing? This is SEIJIHITO here to bring you another live stream. I know it's been a while. I was like, hey, might as well give people a break, let them be free, do the things that they normally do, and we are back. And it is currently what 3:48 on a Good Friday at this moment in time on the March 28th. Much love, respect, and appreciation. And as stated, by way of the title and the image that you are clearly able to see, we are dealing with the fact of yet again the church and how it is that supernaturally these individuals can just so happen to go in and get the black community to freely give over money and nothing comes from it. Right. So let's get directly into it.
And they understand the cost that is involved. There's 1,000 of you. I said close them doors. Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors. We all gonna leave together. Y'all ain't going no place but to the restaurant. There's 1,000 of you tonight, and those that are watching, it's 1,000 that's watching online. This is a small seed. If I get 1,000 online to give this, if I get 1,000 in the sanctuary to give this, that's $40,000 tonight. I'm challenging each of you all down here to give a $20 seed. I just think $20 is a lot of money. $20, believe it or not, when my late wife Melinda P. Sapp was alive, was a good date. I could take her to the movies, buy a box of popcorn, get one soda, 2 straws.
Is that man sweating through that shirt?
I wasn't cheap. That's swag. I was looking in her eyes. She's looking in mine. Can't do that no more. Now, everyone up here, we've all sold and seeded, but I need everyone standing up here with us, with me, to plant a seed of $100. Because again, it costs to sit up here. I got you. Let's see. So put your 20 away, preachers.
That's crazy.
That 20 wasn't for you. And this is what I need you to do. If
Because
you're
the
giving
devil is at work.
electronically, or even if you're giving tangibly, I'm going to have y'all come to the altar and give it, because I need to see 1,000 people moving. Bring them baskets. I want the baskets up here. I want to see the folk. Y'all start moving. Y'all can bring it right now. Come. Even if you're giving tangibly, just put your hand on take your phone and stick it on the bucket. Shh. Giving is worship. Giving is worship. Giving is worship. Giving is worship. This ain't the time to talk. 1,000 people need to give $20. 1,000 people need to give $20. 1,000 people online need to give $20. This is easy, saints. This is an easy miracle. We should be able to raise $40,000 tonight just from y'all giving.
Wow.
That's it.
That's crazy. I've never, you know what, the realest gangsters directly out there, for all intents and purposes, are the preachers. They the realest gangsters out there because they can rob somebody and just talk to them. And be like, I need you to give $20 right now. And everybody that's behind me that's sitting up here, I need you to give 100 because I know you got it. So put away those 20s, put away those. I need you to give 100. Woo! It's crazy work. That's crazy work. We got Brandy V World directly out here saying that it's a good church song, but it ain't worth that. That's bars. That's 100% bars. That's crazy to me. This man is so what is that 40K going directly to? What is the 40K going directly to? And then the dude talking about like, yeah, close the doors, lock them down, close the doors. So what? We're going to keep the doors locked up until you get the money that you say that you need or whatnot. Like, that's crazy to me. But like I said, you got black people out here willingly still going to the church, and they're willingly still throwing away their money. He's like, hey, Which I'm gonna lock the doors. It ain't like y'all going nowhere. Y'all going, right out there to the dinner or whatnot or whatever. So before y'all do that, I need y'all to empty y'all pockets real quick. This is a hold up without the gun. So we're just gonna have these doors locked, and I need 1,000. I need to see 1,000 people moving by way of online, by way of physical, by airplane or train or bike. Somehow, some way, we're going to get those 1,000 people, and we're going to pull in 40K. I know we can do it. We're going to pull in that 40K. That's crazy. That is crazy. And this is the main thing that I want to say to a lot of black people out there. Just imagine if the church used this type of power in order to raise money for the community, in order to buy the block, in order to fix the schools, in order to get drugs directly off of the streets, in order to employ people, in order to help those out there within the community who may be down directly on their luck, to get rid of homelessness or, some type of famine directly out there. Just imagine if all of these black churches, with the power that he was able to use right now, just imagine if all of these black churches in the black community did the exact same thing, but it was for black people. Think how the black community would actually look at this moment in time. Think how we would act, think how we would talk. You would actually have a lot more people in the church. You would have a lot more people actually believing in, right? And looking at these pastors in a whole different light. They wouldn't have no problem giving because they can see where the money is actually going. But like I said before, the churches ain't there to help the people. They're there to profit. They're there to make money because they're a business at the end of the day. And they know that the biggest business, the biggest consumers directly out there are black people. And that the way to get to black people is by way of religion. If you got a hold of religion, you got a hold of black people. So what's going to come next? The money. So this is why you got a lot of these pastors and these preachers that got, millions upon millions upon millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars. They're living a high life. They're going to all these lavish spots doing the things that they want to sit up there and do while you sitting up there broke and destitute. Paycheck to paycheck. Barely keeping the lights on. Barely affording rent. Barely affording your water and your electricity. Barely keeping your cell phone on. Barely keeping on the cable. Barely keeping on the internet. Barely affording your car. Can't even afford to send your kids to a decent college. But yet they can do all of that with no problem. And yet you still got black people being told directly to your face, I need you to give me money. And because it's a church setting, they're like, okay, no problem. Glory be to God. It was God's will. Ah, man, this is crazy. This is crazy. I love it though. Oh, man. Black people are really shout out to those black people. Like I said, as it is written, I guess. It's in God's will. These people are meant to sit up there and profit, even though the Son of Man was not able to profit anything close to what it is that these people are able to pull in. Hey, but so be it. Hey, I guess they're greater. Right? But anyways, let's continue.
That is how these pastors just pimp the pulpit. Seriously. You got Marvin Sapp, who's preaching, and he's telling the congregation, everybody in there, that they need to raise $40,000 tonight. Told the ushers to close the door. Ain't nobody going nowhere. He said, all y'all gonna do is go to the restaurant. But we need y'all to come out y'all pockets again. They already collected once. We need y'all to come out y'all pocket again. We need to raise up $40,000. I
Oh,
don't know
so
why they keep playing. This has nothing to do with
they
God.
donated
It has
twice?
nothing to do with Jesus. I'm so sick of these punk pastors just
Brother.
doing some of the stupidest. It's crazy. And then you wonder why people don't go to church.
Bars.
That reason right there, that has nothing to do with Jesus.
Bars.
That's simply greed. What is wrong with y'all?
Mm.
Oh my God, out of all of that we going through, right now in the United States of America, you got the nerve to sit up there and ask people who work hard for their money to come out more money because you need to raise $40,000 for whatever.
Crazy.
These people can barely pay their light bill. And here you go. See, this is what I'm talking about. Y'all play too much. This has nothing to do with God. It's just, I mean, it's just really pimping people. You know what I'm saying? That's horrible. I can't believe, then too again, I can't believe he did that. I can't, because you got people in the congregation that are just going to believe this man because he sang some songs and he shout and he can make his voice go up and down, and they will believe this man and they will go into their pockets and give, and they can't even afford it. You know what? I'm done.
Yep. Everything she said was it was not a note that she missed. There was not a note that woman missed. If you ever want to see black people get robbed, go to church. Everybody want to talk about crime stats, and if you want to see the real robbers with no mask, no type of black makeup looking like Batman, you want to see somebody that's not in a hoodie or a Nike Tech, whatever it is. You want to see some real robbers, professionals? Go directly to the church. They can legally do it. And black people will open up their wallets. They will use their checkbooks if anybody is, doing that anymore. Or they'll just use the QR code and they will just donate whatever money that they have. Legally robbing people. Crazy work. Nobody wants to talk about that though, right? Because within the black community, people always want to talk about crime. One of the biggest crimes is the church. How it is that they steal and enable a lot of things to take place within a community. And it just is what it is. And, usually when I would just so happen to do normal videos, standard issue 8 to 15-minute videos, solo videos dealing with this story, I would every now and again have people roll up to the scene talking about, well, all churches, aren't like this. Like it's bad that you got some, but every church doesn't. No. Every church does this unless they are performing actions that I can see. Right, just like people are able to say that they saw Jesus perform miracles. I need to see these churches performing the miracles because they are being blessed with money from the community. So with that blessing, they're supposed to be blessing other people, not just themselves. But 9 times out of 10, guess what? They're blessing themselves. Shout out to Joe Osteen. It's like, oh, we got a hurricane or a flood going on. The church is supposed to be the home of where everybody can come through and get saved and find shelter. We locking the doors. We're locking the doors. Ain't nobody coming in. But like I said before, I thought that was a man of God. I thought people were supposed to be able to reside in church and go there for shelter. At any moment in time that somebody needs help, the Lord is supposed to be there. The house of worship is supposed to be open to those people, no matter where you come from, no matter how much money. You could be directly off the streets, or you could come from $1 million mansion. No matter where you're coming from, you could be coming from the worst sense possible. You're supposed to be able to come directly into that church and give yourself to God. Be able to worship, be able to ask for forgiveness, be able to get your sins washed away. Only thing I see washing is money. That's it. That is it. That's some crazy work. That is some diabolical work. And then also to go into the other aspect of which I've touched on before, no diddy, is that a lot of these pastors, like the male pastors or whatnot, they happen to be, sleeping with people in the congregation, which you ain't supposed to be doing, or they're sleeping with other people's wives or daughters, which you're not supposed to be doing, committing sin within the house of the Lord, the house of God. But yet, what do church people normally do about that? Nothing. What do they normally say about that? Nothing. So I'm like, I guess it's just a house of sinners. I guess that's what it is. I guess every single one of these houses of worship, it's nothing but sin. So I'm like, really, that's the devil's house, just to be honest, Because if you're not supposed to be following what it is that you're supposed to be teaching, you're obviously doing the opposite, which is leading people to hell, right? Worshiping sin instead of worshiping God, the Lord, the word, right? But like I said before, hey, it is what it is. This is, what a lot of black people like to, sit up there and do. Because last time I checked, I never heard of, Jesus having a gold plate and telling people like, yo, dish out, whatever, copper, brass, whatnot that you got, because God needs this. Because I've always asked the question, I'm like, what would God need with money when He's created everything in the universe? I'm a little bit confused. Like everybody, like, hey, this money is for the Lord. It's not for you. It's for the Lord. When has God ever needed money? That was one of the greatest lies I've ever had a church sit up there and try to tell me. Like, yo, this money is for God. What? He created everything. Why would God ain't broke? What's happening? But like I said, people believe anything and not question nothing. Shout out to religion. That is the greatest tool used to control the masses that I've ever seen next to fear. Beautiful. But once you put religion and fear together, sky's the limit. You can do anything. You can do anything. Crazy work. This man Ty was like, I'm gonna need you to do a Sunday stream. That's crazy. That is crazy. Well, but like I said, it is what it is. Now we're going to go to a real true American and his family. Right. If you don't know who I'm talking about, we're going to go with Hulk Hogan. Right. We're going to go with his wife, and she is not looking too great at this moment in time. I don't know what happened. I'm not sure if it was the makeup or all of the years of just whatever. But let's listen to what she got to say.
And know that all these horrible things are going on behind the scenes. Yet he marches on. He marches on. Oh, I'm promoting my own beer, real American beer. Look at me. He's such a hero, right? Not. Okay, I'm going to give him my thumbs down. I've given him more opportunities to come back and make us a family and try to. I'm sorry, it's so sad. And it's been 20 years and I'm still this sad. Somebody please explain that. I don't know. It just doesn't get better. I do love living alone. I don't ever want to be married again after him. Trust me. But I love my animals, and my lawyers were in cahoots with his lawyers. They had everything set up where they were cashing in on me. Half of my settlement went to lawyers and back into the lawyer pot, and I ended up with hardly anything. I worked for 25 years for free, basically, and then the settlement that Terry got for another friend's wife behind my back, he got $30 million for that. Yeah. How does that make you feel, right? It's really just not about the money, though. It's that I've given him the opportunity to try to make things right with my daughter and try to make things right with my son and help him. But yet he's just like, here's a little bone, here's a little chip, here's a little something for you. He treats everybody like they're his ex-wife. Here's a little cookie for you. Here's a little cookie for you. Like, mean nothing to him. I meant nothing to him, even though I earned a $20 million empire with him by I don't know what if we got divorced, 2007, whatever, 2007. We had like a dollar empire.
What?
And when I met him, he was in a piece of car, living in Minnesota with a roommate. He had no money. Okay, yeah, the Rocky movie. Who knew where that would go? Who knew where that would go? Who knew? But yeah, we hooked before that, and then all of a sudden it just ignited, right? So it wasn't after that, it was before that. But
so I think her name is like Linda Hogan or whatever it is. For whatever reason, she decided to go on social media and go on a rant of talking about money, even though she wanted to say that it's not really about the money. Ma'am, it is about the money. And then on top of that, you are the one that wanted the divorce, right? So usually the one that wants the divorce is the one that's going to have to pay for it. What did you think was going to happen if he asked for the divorce? Then guess what? He was going to have to sit up there and pay for it. You wanted the divorce. You said that he was doing this and doing that and all these other types of things. Where did you think that the money was going to go? Do you not think that the lawyers are going to look out for the best interest of themselves and their firm? They're going to do just that. You are just just a small little piece. It's like, all right, we're basically in here. We got our hands directly on the money. We're going to see what fees and everything that we can throw directly on top of this so that we can get the most out of it. And then you'll probably get, 20%. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like, that's a lawyer problem. You should have got better lawyers that would have treated this a lot more evenly. And then you said that both lawyers or both parties of lawyers were in a sense in on it. Then you should have a third lawsuit and try to get whatever work or whatever information that you need in order to prove that, since you're saying with 100% certainty with your chest that this is what took place and that you are basically robbed. It's crazy. It's crazy. This is why you happen to see that a lot of guys who have money ain't really paying for a divorce. But now we'll sit up to say if everybody has a prenup, then divorce is, it's not going to be any effort. You don't have to worry about trying to get robbed or lawyers' fees or what. It's going to be very equal because, like, hey, you got a prenup, the other person got a prenup. The lawyers just got to look like, okay, well, this, that, the third, move a few pieces around, bam, that's it. This is what it looks like when you don't get a prenup. This is what it looks like when you don't have certain protections directly in order. But even though she probably knew about prenups and all of these things, she probably opted not to sit up there and do that. And then on top of that, as she stated before, she pretty much worked for free during the time that Hulk Hogan was Hulk Hogan, before all of the madness of now, right? Him being ultra Republican, ultra MAGA, and all this other type of stuff. During that 20 plus year stint, you as a wife that is attached to the name of Hulk Hogan, you could have came up with a brand, baked goods, name, t-shirts, business. You could have did everything possible to create your own empire. So just in case things didn't work out, guess what? You got your own thing going under your own name. That is you. You opted not to do that. You wanted to ride the wave of Hulk Hogan up until you and this is the other thing that I've tried to tell a lot of other women out there that are dating guys with like money or celebrity fame, all this other type of stuff. I'm like, it's crazy to see women go online and start crying and complaining when I'm like, yo, you already knew who the dude was. You already knew that the ship was not going to last that long, that the boat already has some holes directly on it, and he's going to be able to sail while you're left there in the ocean stranded trying to throw water back out, but water's coming back in because of the holes, right? So instead of you trying to, be like Batman, Bruce Wayne, and think of contingency plans, be like, hey, for this what if, a lot of women just want to sit up there and ride the wave. Like, the guy, he's rich, he's this, I'm just going to have a few babies directly with him, all this other type of stuff. And you think that that's going to do something, and it's not. You're just going to be left stranded, and people are going to be looking at you like you're stupid, because realistically you are. Just having a baby with somebody is not a meal ticket. 2 babies is not a meal ticket. We're moving away from the point in time where people are feeling sorry for people making these types of choices directly in life, and everything that she did was a direct choice. Everything that she did was a direct choice. At any moment in time, even earlier on in his career, she saw things there. She opted, that were red flags, that she opted not to pay attention to, that she didn't want to just be like, all right, I'm done with this, whatnot, or whatever, because she felt that she's not going to have any other woman take her spot. So because she didn't want any other woman taking that spot, she decided to stay there and deal with it, and then also give him kids. Sounds like a skill issue. That's what that sounds like. It sounds 100% like a skill issue. Like I said, it's crazy to see women like this get directly online and try to cry, try to complain, woe was me, and all this other. That's crazy to me. Skill issue. Pick better guys. Don't stay with a dude that you know is not going to be a great father. She just literally said like, oh, he's not there for his kids. You chose him. You knew this through dating him. You knew this by the interaction that he had with other people directly out there, and also the other stories of wrestlers and whatnot or whatever. But you forwent all of that information, still got engaged, still got married, still lied down unprotected, and had kids directly with him. And here you are, and now you're talking about, oh, I never want to get married again. So you don't see any responsibility that you have directly on that situation. Like, that's the other craziest thing to me. And like I said, this is not me being like, this man is really defending the race. Nah, I don't have time for stupidity. I don't have time for stupidity. I get tired of when people want to act as though that when they're in a relationship that they're absolved of any type of selection, choice, or responsibility on their side when they decided to be with a person. That's crazy to me. Like, nobody is innocent. Nobody is a victim. You decided to be with Hulk Hogan just like he decided to be with you. What are we doing? Because if she had $30 million, do you think that she would be here crying? No, she wouldn't. Now, the other option that would probably happen is that she would still decide to make a video wanting to talk about the kids or whatnot or whatever. Right? That would probably still happen. But she wouldn't be on here crying like, oh, what was me? I don't have no money. I'm basically broke and I got my pets and I never want to get married again. Okay. Like I said, she threw the kids up there for the icing on the cake, because if she actually genuinely cared about the kids like that, the whole video would have been about the kids. But it wasn't. It wasn't. Crazy work, though. It is what it is. Trills was like, let me tell you something, brother. I'm not a fan of black people, but I love me some Jackson, some Bo Jackson. Like I said, I gotta love Hulk Hogan. He's racist to a point. Racist to a point. It be like that. Shout out to Trills and Brother Exile. What is up? What is up? What is up? But yeah, it be like that, man. It 100% be like that. But let's go to the next video.
I walked in, it was packed. And what do you think I saw? What do you think I saw?
What did you see?
Exactly.
Okay, so let me paraphrase this because they're just going to be talking and then you'll probably get it a little bit later. So these are compilation videos dealing with women who wanted to go out there to the bars and to the clubs and to the dating scene, and they're speaking on their experience and specifically what it was that they were able to assess and see. The last one is, it's going to be what it's going to be. We'll get to it. You'll see it.
Because when I walked in, it was packed. And what do you think I saw? What do you think I saw?
What did you see?
Exactly what I thought I was going to see.
What?
80 women sitting alone. No men in sight. None.
I saw so many black women try to solve a problem in dating by starting to host events in person, trying to create third spaces to facilitate dating like offline. And you know what would happen every single time? The men were not signing up. They would be selling tickets to speed dating, and they would always end up with men's tickets on sale. Always, because they weren't buying any. Just the other day, a big account that I follow for black creatives did like this cute Cupid thing where they were like, hey, send us a profile about yourself and we would love to post it and like play matchmaker. Sounds like a cute idea, right? Not one single man sent their profile in. And mind you, this is an account that has well over 100,000 followers. It's just time to stop. It's time to stop. They have made it very loud and clear that they do not
singles event, and here's why I think we're doomed to be single for the rest of our lives. That was a bit dramatic, but let me tell my story. So I went to singles night at Union Church's Charlotte campus. Now, I don't go to that church, but I started following Pastor Stephen since he was a guest pastor at my church earlier this month. And when I found out that he was writing a book on dating and relationships, I was interested because, listen, your girl could use some divine intervention in that area. But I'll be honest, I didn't want to go at first. I figured it's a Christian singles event. There's going to be 11 women there and like 2 men. Plus, they were advertising it as a conversation that you wouldn't expect to have at church. And I thought, I've heard enough of those modern dating and relationship podcasts. I don't need to hear any more, especially not with a biblical spin. Instead of having meaningful conversations about finding and building Christ-centered relationships,
we just left the event. So bad. I think we were just saying that we think that we've actually hit rock bottom. No, it's actually we think we've actually hit rock bottom, and I think we were either punked, catfished, or it felt like a sick joke.
And my spirit, while I was there, my spirit told me, no mas, por favor. I am not going to no more of these. Okay? That rhymed, period. I'm not going to anymore. And here's why. So that singles event was cool because they actually had a mix and mingle session at the end where they put us in a very cool atmosphere for people to talk and meet with each other. Although there was like 3 men there and 300 women, I loved the fact that they did that. I thought that was really cool. But my thing is, you go to one single event, you go to them all. They got the same message, and I'm going to tell y'all what they be saying so that you can know ahead of time. If you feel like you're called to go, go. If you feel like the Lord is telling you to go, go. If you've never been, go. If you want to mix and mingle with other single people, go. But let me tell you, this is going to be the singles conference starter pack. I'm going to tell you what you're going to get. Okay?
Gonna get hate for this, but whatever. I approached a black man this week at like a dating event, and he was not interested in me. And that by itself is like not a great story, right? I tried to shoot my shot. He was not interested. I moved on. But immediately after I walked away from this man, he went up to a group of 5 white women and he introduced himself to all of them. And then I kind of observed out of like the corner of my eye for the rest of the evening, this man was only going up and talking to different white women. Later that night, another very attractive black man came in, the exact same thing, only talked to the white women that were in the room. There were maybe 6 or 7 black women throughout. And I could tell, I would look over at the black women occasionally. They would be looking, we would all be observing the same thing. We're all thinking the same thing, right? And as someone who has reviewed a bunch of different like dating events, I have seen this play out so many times where you walk into a room, the black women are looking for other black men and the black men are not looking for black women. Unless the host of the event is like a black person or a person of color. And as much as I say that I am going to start dating outside my race, my mind...
Like I told you the last video. Now I will sit up there and say this. Dealing with the other several videos that were directly up there with the women. When you decide to go on social media, like when the overarching thing that men are seeing on social media, where women are basically stating that, dating and marriage, that's basically oppression, it's slavery. The only thing that men want to do is try to, control us, and we don't need men. We're completely independent. We're making our own money. I provide for myself and all this. When men are hearing a lot of these messages, and then you also have women stating that they don't get dressed up every day for men, they get dressed up for themselves. Men are like, okay, so that means that when you go out and about, like to the clubs and parties, you're not dressing for the eyes of men. You're dressing for yourselves and your girls. No problem. No reason for me to be there. I'm going to selectively decide to decline all of those invitations on wherever it is that they want men to show up, and going to go to other places where women are dressing in order to attract and get the attention of men, where we're not hearing that continuous type of call out or whatever you want to say, directly online for women. That's where men are just going to happen to go. Men are going to go to the areas of least resistance, right? So men are going to either opt to show up somewhere else, or they're going to opt to stay directly at home and just chill. That's it. It's literally that simple, right? But when you look at a lot of these videos, you don't hear none of the women taking any responsibility on the things that they put out specifically on social media. Because I can promise you, if I could find at any moment in time any of those women's X account and I could look at their tweets over the last 4 years, I promise you I will see them parrot the exact same things that other women have parroted directly online, which is usually anti-men and 9 times out of 10 uplifting women, right? Doing that whole different type of thing. And I'm like, well, you can't be too surprised when you go out there and you want to look for something and you don't find it. I keep telling people it's the energy that you put directly out there. If your energy as a woman is jacked, you're not going to get nothing. Or you just might get the other guys. That's, like the ones that women like to say, like the dudes that's like running and ripping around, through the streets and all this other type of, like I said, it's all dealing with the energy, but nobody wants to take responsibility. They want to be like, the men are the problem. The men are the problem. They're the reason. Like, I'm perfect, right? A lot of women be like, I'm perfect. I can do this. I can do that. All this other type of stuff. But it's like, if you were actually perfect, then there would be, millions upon millions, if not billions of dudes trying to really get you. But there's not. So obviously somebody's lying here. And I'm going to go with what it is that you're able to attract versus what it is that you're saying. Because like I said, I go with the actions. So dealing with the last woman directly there goes right back to the thing that a lot of people always want to talk about primarily, because the poster child for interracial dating out of the whole planet for whatever reason is always black men, which is quite weird to me, because I'm like, white dudes been dating every single ethnicity directly out here, but nobody says nothing. White women don't even really say nothing. But for whatever reason, black men have to be the villain for this, and this is pretty much where we are. And for me, that's a little bit weird. As I stated before, if that guy was clearly not interested, it is what it is. Just listening to the woman there and hearing her speak, I automatically thought, I'm like, oh, you date white guys. Like I said before, like how a lot of women can happen to say that about black guys. Like, if I look at this dude, I can tell that he dates only white women. He's only. I sat up there and heard her, and I listened. And I'm like, you date white guys. And then lo and behold, what did she sit up there and say? She was like, I sat up there and said, I'm going to change my dating preferences and be more open. No. Like I told people before, don't use this whole thing as an excuse as why it is that you want to date white. Just go out there and do it. Like I get tired of people sitting up there doing it. It's like nobody wants to be honest. Somebody has to be the fall guy for somebody else's actions. It makes no sense. And I said it directly on both sides. If you're a black dude and you specifically want to date white women, don't be ashamed of it. Go out there and go sit up there and do it. Don't make up no excuses. Don't sit up there and do it. Because like I said, it's looking disingenuous. And the same thing I said up there said when they deal with black women. If you want to be a black woman out here and you're educated, all this other type of shit, rah, yada, yada, you want to go out there and date white guys, go out there and date white guys. Don't sit up there and be like, I went to this dating scene and, I shot my shot and it didn't work out. But that same guy decided that he wanted to sit up there and talk to white women. Okay. This happens to a lot of people, even when it doesn't specifically deal with color. She could have shot her shot and then he decided to speak to a black woman that looks nothing like her. So now what are we doing? Are we going to take responsibility on maybe that you should have did better on how it is that you shot your shot? Because again, she didn't give an example on how it is that she shot her shot, because I want to be very clear. A lot of women don't know how to actually talk to guys, because women never had to sit up there and do that. Women are not built to be like, all right, I'm about to, go out here, see somebody I'm about to go sit up there and shoot. The only time that women shoot their shots is when it deals with a bi or a lesbian relationship. That's the only time that women actually shoot their shots and put themselves out there on the field and to see what happened. When it deals with guys, this is not something on average that women sit up there and do. Trust them, it's not something that women sit up there and do. So again, if she would have gave an example on how it is that she conducted, quote unquote, shooting her shot like men have done, and we've been able to critique other men, but like, yo, the way that you were even dressed, like I said, there's a whole thing when it deals with guys on how we assemble and look at certain things and critique certain things from like a 1 to a 10, right? To give an overall score and a grade. We can't sit up there and do that. She's just like, well, I'm a woman, I'm black, and I went out there and I shot my shot to a black guy, and he just wasn't accepting of it. You're not taking no accountability for nothing. You're like, well, I just lost out to white women because obviously that's really what he was attracted to. That's some crazy work. That is some crazy work. And then you said that another guy was like that. Again, what state were y'all in? What colleges did all of you guys just so happen to go to? Because usually if I happen to see people that are just for one specific group and they're black, usually people went to schools that are primarily white. So again, I can't be too shocked. I can't be too, surprised directly at that. And like I said, I told a lot of parents that, like, yo, if you want your kids to specifically find their own people attractive, you may want to put them around their own people, where there's various types, right? HBCUs got all of that and all that and whatnot or whatever, right? You got those different things there. When you're specifically sending them to white schools or colleges, guess what? They're not going to be seeing themselves as beautiful because they're looking at everybody else that is within their view, right? So that also means themselves, right? So they may not have a high value or respect point for themselves because they're looking at other men out here that are the higher demographic when it deals with the representation of that school, right? And vice versa when it deals with black girls out here going to all of these other types of schools where it's primarily white women. So because it's only, a few of them and there's thousands of the others, guess what the standard of beauty is, right? Guess what the standard of speaking, of acting, of how it is that you're supposed to, place yourself as a woman. Like I said, it's the exact same thing, but you know, can't tell nobody nothing. What was that? Monica said, Ninja male, you lying. Not one single black young lady saying anything. You're barking. Hold on, let me just take off the banner real quick. Let me just do that. Ma'am, you must be new to this channel. For the most part that I've covered this relationship type issue dealing within the black community of both black men, women, the young black women, the young black men, and then also the teenagers, you're trying to sit up there and tell me with your chest out in my comment section that I'm lying on what it is that I'm talking about when I have at least proven by way of actions of all of the age ranges directly out there and how it is that they speak about each other directly online or face to face. Are you kidding me? Like what rock do you live directly up under? That's what I want to know. Like where on social media do you in a sense reside? Because I keep trying to tell people, if you specifically want to find the things that you want to look for, they're out there. It's just the fact that nobody actually wants to do the hard work and searching, and they don't want to dig for the information. But they want to pull up to the scene like this and be like, "Oh no, you lying. You don't got no proof. You don't know what you sitting up there talking about. You don't know what you're talking about." Like I said, I've been covering stuff like this for years. Where you been at? Oh, that's right. You were probably just ignoring it. You were probably just oblivious to it. You were probably just scrolling directly past it, not sitting up there caring. But now when you got a black guy up here talking and explaining, now it's complete lies. You got to be kidding me, brother. Ain't talking about I'm the goofy, but you the goofy up here looking for attention. You got it though, but you the goofy up here again looking for attention. That's crazy. There's a whole bunch of women sitting up there doing live streams, podcasts, all this other type of stuff. You pulled up to this one. That's some crazy work. But I'm the goofy. All right. That's some crazy work. And then the craziest thing is, I will literally critique and break down both sides and call out both sides. But you got clowns out here that will pull up to the scene like this. Word? So I'm like, no, like people just don't pay it. People, this further proves that people only want to hear the things that they feel pertain to them if it's a negative. Because if at any point in time, if I was talking positively about like just black women in general, she would never pull up to she wouldn't have nothing to say. She would be silent in the background as a church mouse. But because it's dealing with a critique, let me sit up there and speak of mine. Let me sit up there and say this. And more than likely, this probably, what I'm even talking about, probably don't even apply to her. But she feels like she needs to stand up for who? For who? It's the same thing I sit up there and tell with some of the black guys here that are into interracial dating. It's like, yo, it is what it is. Just don't be using the excuse of like, black women or whatnot for going out there and do it. Just go out there and do it. Like Nike, just do it. That's it. But like I said, nobody listens. Nobody actually listens directly to the messages that are put, out here. Crazy work. Crazy. Queen L said, LOL. I hope they truly don't care. Queen said, being male-centered is crazy work. How foolish. Like I said, I don't get it. So Max said, okay, these black men are as emotional as their mothers, and black women, your black sons are as emotional as black women. That's the problem. Wait, Tricky said, are you actually saying that if you send a black kid to a white school, that by proxy they'll end up finding a white people attractive? Or it could be just that they find someone attractive and it has zero to do with what school. Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm going directly with the first point. If you are black and you are sending your child directly to a white school, 9 times out of 10, they're going to find the white people there. Though the ones that are the main majority, they're going to find them attractive. That is what is going to happen. How many times, like case in point, like a lot of women want to bring up when they talk about the NFL and the NBA, what be happening when they want to, really want to try to highlight or showcase something, right? They happen to showcase the black dudes, the black boys out there with who? They're not trying to showcase them with black women. They happen to showcase them at these high schools, right? Well, I mean, high schools, I'm talking about the schools that a lot of money, talking about the colleges, right? They show them at these schools with these white girls. That's what you happen to see. So again, if you're looking at the fact that this is where black people tend to send their best and their brightest, you're looking at the fact that this is the main majority and the representation of what the beauty standard technically is, not just there, but also in America. And then you also go to the extent of what mainstream media is specifically trying to push directly out. There you go. It's a complete circle. Like I said, I'm looking at what is presented. I'm looking at what is directly out there. So yes, that is directly what I'm saying. Like you're trying to make it seem like, oh no, those young black boys, they just found, another human being that they could. Let me make you very clear. In those conversations, you're not going to hear people talk about like, oh, I found another human being. They're gonna be like, yo, this white girl was cool, or this white girl, this white girl. You're going to happen to hear that. Nobody's going to be sitting up there talking about like, oh, this is just another human being that I love. No. Because there's obviously apparent differences, one of which is skin color. Because with that is how people are taught, how people are raised, also their history. Because people always try to make it seem like, oh, nobody is their skin color. I guess not, but that history tells you differently. Because white people don't have the same history as black people, especially in America. You do not. Because at no point in time have you ever heard a white person sit up there and say like, oh, I would love to sit up there and give up my white skin and be black. Never. You might hear someone like the young white kids out here that think that it's cool or whatnot, whatever, because they're just looking at the quote unquote online. They're looking at the media or what they deem to be a positive, but they're not looking at the full totality of the situation of what it means to be black in the United States. So we're not going to do that. We're not about to sit up there. We are not about to do that. We're not about to do that. That's crazy. That is 100% crazy. Wait, Queen, was that a question? You said that. Wait, let me go back. You said that white women deserve a successful black man or men, and black women don't. Is that a question? Okay. So you continue. You said when a black man becomes successful, he deserves a white woman. A black woman doesn't deserve a successful black man. She should stick with the Pookies and the Ray Rays, right? That's not what I said. The thing that I basically stated was that if you have women out here and they're complaining about the fact that they're not able to get the man that they want, it has to do with attraction. This is the main thing that I keep trying to, tell people. I'll put it to you like this. I got to go back. Some of y'all been here long enough. Y'all heard these stories before, right? Back when I was younger, let's say like 18, 19, 17, right? Somewhere in that top line of high school, there were girls that I knew that would always complain to me about the types of guys that would want to talk to them. Right. But at the same time, I'm sitting up there listening to them. I'm like, okay, so what types of guys, do you actually, like and want? They were like, yo, I don't want no lame. I don't want no square. I don't want no dude that's, out there just, playing, like video games and doing this and doing that, all this other type of da. right? They want somebody that's spontaneous. They want somebody that's out there and doing this and doing that. So I'm like, okay, so you're getting exactly what it is. So what you put out into the universe, you told the universe this is what you wanted, aka a Pookie and a Ray Ray. You want somebody that's opposite of like a nerd, a geek, a lame, or a standard issue guy. You want opposite of that, which is a Pookie and a Ray Ray, right? Because you want to feel alive, right? You want to be out there like, dangerous. You want to be shown directly off. You want to be talked to and treated this certain type of way and all this other. So like I said, you get what it is that you put out into the universe. If women were specifically out here stating that, yo, I want a standard issue dude. I want a dude that's nice. I want a guy that's considerate, that's going to value me, that's going to respect me, that's going to uplift me, that's never going to call me out of my name, that's going to do If women were actually putting that into the universe and they 100% meant it, you would have a lot of women that would actually get that. But from what I'm able to literally see, from both experience, having conversations, looking in the world, and also social media, a lot of women will say one thing, but completely go after another. A lot of women will sit up there and say that they want a nice guy, but realistically, they want a thug. They want somebody that's like Tupac, right? They want somebody that's been shot up, that's about that life, right? Because it has to do with the security, right? Even though a lot of women would call that toxic masculinity, right? A lot of women want that because when they look at a nice guy, they don't get that. They're like, okay, well, if I'm not really afraid of you, then I know that these other guys ain't going to be afraid of you, right? Because a lot of women want a guy that they're going to be afraid of, that they know that if I raise my hand, he might sit up there and swing back. So I know if a guy raises his hand, he's going to be sitting up there trying to fight them too. But if I raise my hand to a nice guy, he's just gonna let me steamroll him. He's not gonna fight back. He ain't gonna put me directly in my place. He's not gonna be able to quote unquote handle me. So what I'm basically stating is that if women went on the action of telling the universe this thing and they stayed consistently actually wanting that thing and going directly in depth, they would actually sit up there and get it. Because it's crazy how you can have what some women would consider ugly guys or broke guys. They can get some of the most beautiful women directly out here. Crazy work, but it's not crazy when you understand the fact that they believe that they can obtain these women. If quote unquote a broke dude or ugly dude is like, yo, I can sit up there and get this girl that's like an 8, 9, or a 10. I can sit up there and get her. He has that confidence. He's exuding that. So he's not only walking in that action, he's also speaking that to himself and putting that into the universe. The universe responded by raining that energy back down on him. And guess who he attracted? Guess who he ended up getting? Guess who he got kids by? That 8, that 9, or that 10. So if standard issue guys who are quote unquote ugly or broke can obtain 8, 9s, or 10s, what's the excuse for all of these quote unquote educated, successful women directly out here and why it is that they can't get what it is that they desire? That's all I'm saying. It's not that difficult. Tricky said, it's crazy to me. Not what you're saying, but what Queen is saying is crazy to me. But I'm not black, so I won't pretend to understand in depth under the subsurface of cultural stuff. Nelson said most black women in general don't respect themselves. It shows in the types of guys that they date and / treat, the treatment that they put up with. Oh, what was it? Queen replied to Tricky. We see it all the time. When a black man becomes successful, he gets a white woman. I know you see it as well. Black men think that a white woman means wealth and a black woman means poverty. So Queen. So in respect of your comment, so if black men look at white women as success, what do black women look at or consider white men to be? Queen said the person on the live just spoke on it, how the men in the NFL have white women by their. I mean, I'm the person talking, Queen. I'm not This is crazy work out here. So Queen, I'm just trying to figure out like so if black men look at white women as the success story, what do black women view white men as? And please don't sit up there and tell me, oh, they're black women, they're completely different. They just view them as a human being, as somebody who just loves. Please don't give me that. Please don't do that to me. Don't do that one. We got Z-Rod. What is up? What is up? What is up? You said we will look at success unless it's actually a man, no matter what their race is. If he's a successful man, he's a successful man. But do a sister feel worthy to be with a successful man? I guess that only black women would be able to actually answer that. I could not give you an answer directly to that one. The funniest thing is I'll sit up because going off of Z's comment, right, on how women will basically just view a man as successful, right? Don't matter the race. If he's successful, he's successful. A lot of men will sit up there and look at a woman on if she is loving, if she is caring, if she values that man, if she respects that man's word and treats him with respect. They just look at that person as love. That's it. Beyond, right, going off of the comment from Z, going off of, beyond all of the things dealing with race, a lot of dudes just simply want a woman that loves, values, and respect. It's literally that simple. It's really three things. All of this other type of stuff that you happen to hear on social media, it's not really all of that. That's just other stuff that people wanted to add on there just for conversation's sake. Realistically, men are very simple. Men do not require a lot. Like realistically, if every dude was able to just live and probably just a standard issue like apartment and just have the stuff that they wanted in there, a lot of dudes would be fine and be like, yo, this is my spot. I'm fine with this. This is okay. The part where it doesn't become okay is when you add a woman directly into the mix and she comes in there, she's like, yo, what is this? It was like, this is you're fine with this? Like, you don't want more, you don't want better? Nah, because this is comfortable. This is okay. Right? But women are like, no, it has to be bigger. It's $100,000 house, $1 million house. It has to be there. I'm like, who's doing all that walking? Who's doing all that cleaning? I'm like, that's what I'm thinking of, as a guy. I'm like, that's a lot of rooms. That's a lot of carpet. That's a lot of space. There's a lot of entry points. Like I said, security issues, everything. But a lot of women don't look at, larger houses and more expensive things in that way. They're just like, I want it. Guys are the ones that's always trying to like scope out like, okay, how could this potentially go wrong? How is this a asset that is going to be undervalued as soon as it leaves directly off the lot? How are we going to be able to protect ourselves from, let's say, fire, water or earthquake? What type of insurance are we going to be able to get directly? Like I said, these are the things that men worry about and think about whenever it is that they decide to buy something, a house or whatever it is. Right, because we understand that we are throwing an investment directly into this, and at a certain point in time, we want that investment to come directly back. Women are like, "No, I'm just throwing money. That Birkin bag, let me just put like 15 to 20 directly on there. I don't care." Like I said, it's crazy. It's crazy work. It is crazy. It's crazy work. It's crazy work. Tricky said, I would have to imagine that they would see it as, I don't know, a door that wasn't normally be opened for them. Z said, man, the success got to be equal opportunity with me. I can't be successful. Then he take from me. I don't care if he's black or white, but man, maybe this is not my question. No. And I agree with that. I have no problem with people wanting somebody that, or using the biblical term that people like, evenly yoked, right? So if you got a woman that's 100K and a dude that's 100K, they're both educated and all that other type of good stuff. If they get together, guess what? That's 200K at the end of the day. At the end of the year, that's 200K that those people are bringing directly into the house. I don't see no problem with that. That's cool. That's cool. Like I said before, I felt like that's some beautiful type stuff. And then from there, y'all can build and grow directly off of that, right? Now, what normally tends to happen by way of social media, the conversations and spilling out into the real world, you have a lot of women that are successful that got money, they'll happen to say that, okay, I'm making a certain amount of money, but I need the guy to make 2, 3, 4, 5 times, 10 times more than what I make. I'm like, huh? I'm like, that's a little bit weird. I'm like, but if y'all got the same education, working the same job, and it's a good dude, like all of the qualities that you want is specifically in this dude, you would forego that in order to get somebody who monetarily has more control over everything, over every single facet pretty much in your life. What? You 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 still in a sense want to be able to like lean on that person and not use your money. You want to be able to. I'm like, that's a little bit weird to me. Like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, so what did you go to school and get this education for if all you wanted to do is have a dude pretty much supplement your whole, lifestyle and all this other type of stuff? I'm like, you could have just been broke and just got pregnant by a few dudes, you know. But like I said, conversations out here be crazy. It'd be 100% crazy. Nielsen said white guy made a YouTube video talking about how black girls love them just because they're white, and the evidence. No. To Nelson's point, right? Let me just highlight that real quick. I have a video. I would have to heavily edit the video, because there was a white dude that was on, I think it was IG, and he was basically showcasing the fact of how easy, and this is just a basic ordinary white dude. He was showing how easy it is for him to get the attention of just an ordinary black girl directly out there. And he was coming out, he was like, yo, he's racist. He was saying some of the most craziest stuff. And I kid you not, he still got that girl's number. I'm like, you have to be kidding me. I'm like, this dude has said some of the most racist stuff. And then he tried to segue that into it being like sexualized between him and her and all this. And I'm like, you still talking to this dude? You still having a conversation? You still gave your nut? And I'm like, he got it. I mean, glory to the winner. Like I said, it ain't no hate directly over here. I just find it completely crazy. Because I'm like, the white dude can literally come through the comment section and say some of the most craziest stuff. And the craziest thing is, I've seen a lot of women attracted to some of the most racist dudes directly out here. Again, makes no sense to me, but women like what it is that they like. And they can say some of the most horrendous, craziest things. And you look at the women that still be trying to hit them up. It's like, wow. But I'm like, so what about all of that feminist stuff? What about all of that women's rights? You're independent. You don't need a man. And I'm like, all right. So I guess that self-love and knowledge of self and everything, I guess that's completely thrown directly out the window. Like I said, I got quite a few videos showcasing this. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, I got it. All right. So, I'm like, hey, it's, it is what it is. No problem. No problem. Wait, Tippy in here? Yo, what is up, Tippy? Wait, where's Tippy at? Oh, no. I think, okay, you did a mistypo. You meant you were typing back to Tricky. Okay. I was like, yeah, I ain't seen Tippy in here at all. Let me see, what else we got? Yeah, Gail said, does successful white men count since the scales are heavily tilted in their favor? Wait, are you talking about by the success? Wait, are you talking back to Z? Gail? Because I'm not sure. Z said, maybe there's another question. Whenever one problem is women are looking for men, a man's supposed to pursue a woman. You're not supposed to go find a man. Number one red flag. I mean, I can agree directly with that, but again, everybody's different. Some women see exactly what it is that they want, and they're going to go directly, after said thing, no matter what it is. The same thing with a lot of guys. If a guy sees what it is that he wants, he's going to go directly after, said thing. And some dudes will be like, yo, I done did this for about like 30, 40 years. I done went out here and like chase. It ain't nothing really work. I'm just going to see that if I'm attractive enough or have the values enough that a woman will want, if, she will let me know. And then we can go from there. And like I said, I don't fault a dude for that. Like, yo, you've been sitting up there doing this and it's just not worked out. But you have the qualifications to, meet or match up with a lot of women out here. But again, because you physically don't meet what it is that a lot of women need or want, stuff happens. And that's another thing that doesn't get talked about in these conversations as well too, is that you have a lot of dudes out here that will date a woman and she can be whatever. Like I said, what was it? My 600-pound life. Those women got kids, they're married and everything like that. So realistically, a lot of women don't have an excuse. You got women out here that are just like, yo, 6, 7, 800, and they're married with kids. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Can't nobody tell me that it is impossible, that it is a struggle. Because the main people that should be struggling ain't struggling. They're living a life that, in a sense, other women want, which is the marriage and the kids, and having that husband that's going to be by them, right? That's going to love them and value them and respect them, right? So, like I said, I don't know what to tell people directly out here. But again, guys will happen to date women no matter what size that they are. Women are not doing that same thing. You're not going to find women out here be like, yo, you're about to go out on a date with this dude that's like 500 pounds. women ain't about to sit up there and do that. They're not doing that. They're not doing that. You're not going to see women going on a date with a dude that's like that has like the same weight or shape as Dank DeMoss. Women are not about to sit up there and do that. Not going to do that. Because physically you have to be there for a woman in both ways. Right. So women are, like I said, there's a lot of conversations that don't get touched on for other reasons of why it is that women don't select certain men. And that's going to go, more so into the bedroom situation and the area. But like I said, no, people don't want to bring up those conversations. They always want to say that old men just, they're they don't, qualify to be with these certain types of women because they don't match up with the money. No. Let's get to the real grits. Let's get to the breakfast portion. Let's not talking about the lunch. Then let's get to the real thing directly right there. Let's get to the start. And it basically deals with below the belt. But a lot of women don't want to be honest and say that because they feel that, if I, talk in a certain type of way, if I mention this and that and third, then I'm going to be looked at, a certain type of way. I'm like, no matter how you get looked at, you should be honest. That's the main thing. If you know that you are a woman that is willing to forego the education, the money, and all of this other type of stuff because you want somebody that has that, then so be it. Go directly after that. But don't masquerade and make it seem as though that you just can't find any type of guy, even though you have a lot of qualified, educated guys directly out here. A lot of guys that will financially supplement a woman's life. Don't sit up there and say that you can't find a guy. Just say that you can't find a guy that specifically meets the necessary requirements to work directly on your car. Right? Just sit up. Like I said, a lot of women just need to be way more honest, about that. Gail said, not all women. Right? I just say women directly in general. I didn't classify all 100%, of women. Just, just like I said, the same way that I talk about men, the same thing I talk about women, same way I talk about the elders, same way I talk about, the same way I talk about the kids. Z said he may want her as a wife, but that's what he's looking for. If he's down to earth, then that's success because he's down to earth. They work together. But if he's looking for a woman to dominate, it would not work because he becomes the whole and she becomes the problem for him, according to him. And then you said the same goes for women. She wants this wonderful man and she gets him. It was handed to her because she doesn't treat his love with respect. I learned about a couple of women like this. I was angry. Yeah, if you happen to listen to a lot of guys directly out here, they will happen to state in a lot of the relationships that they are in that they might have lost the love or the attractiveness for said woman because of one very simple thing. that the woman does not respect him. And for a lot of guys, because women don't understand what respect is, right? Because women don't go off of a whole thing of respect. Like women's system is, it's not off of like respect or any of that. With guys, that's ranked very high, because with respect comes, value and everything like that. And, of course, love. The moment of time that a woman does not respect a man, she does not love him. And those are just the facts. I'm not debating with nobody directly on that. I don't care what any psychological, I don't care about any of that. If a woman does not respect a man, she does not love him. Those two are within the exact same realm when it deals with women. Women can't understand this because, again, they're not men, right? Women just solely just values the whole thing of love, or what the theory or the thought or the expectation, or whatever story that they were raised on. That's basically like women's whole thing. It's like, oh, he loves me, da 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 da. You never heard a woman sit up and say like, oh, he really respects. No. Never heard women get hyped on social media directly over there. It's always the L word. It's always love, or the other L word, which is lust, right? Either which one of the two, for whatever reason, it could be, interchangeable. The third option that could, in a sense, be a substitute for love, which is finances, right? Which is money, right? If a dude is doling out all of this money to a woman, he don't have to sit up and say that he loves her. He never has to say it. She'd be like, oh, his actions prove that he loves me because he buys me all of this stuff. So like I said, with women, it doesn't really go off of respect, right? With guys, it does. Because that means everything. That is highly crucial. Even when it deals with like the business world, it's like, yo, if people highly respect you, you're going to get treated a certain type of way. You're going to get deemed a certain type of way, and things will happen. Just like in the street, respect is a thing. Like I said, no matter what facet that you look at, when it deals with from boys to men, right, directly in their personal life or the real world, respect is directly up there. And that's how it works. Not up for debate. But it'd be like that. Said, women my age refuse to go 50-50. I'm 25 and it's very depressing. Yo, you're just gonna have to find somebody. Let me just be real. You're gonna just have to find a woman that matches up with you. That's the best thing I can sit up there and tell you. Women who are in like the 25s, a lot of them roll by social media. Let me just highlight you real quick. I got you. Let me see. So you got a lot of women out here, especially in their 20s. They like to roll by what it is that other women are doing, especially when it deals with social media. They'll listen to their girlfriends. They'll listen to their favorite female rappers. Like what was the girl that I was talking about before? JT, right? She's a part of like City Girls. She was online sitting up there flashing that Little Uzi Vert gave her 10K to just go out there and just spend. And she was like, my guy gave me 10K, but your guy barely want to sit up there and get you 10-piece wings. I'm like, what? How are we doing? I'm like, can nobody do math directly out here? I'm like, y'all are both millionaires. So it's like 10K for you. That's basically y'all giving away like $100. Like that's nothing. You can easily see like 10K by doing a performance at somebody's club or whatnot or whatever, and then make more than that. You can sit up there and probably just make up a record and just upload it, and you're instantly getting like 10 times 100 directly on that. Right? You can easily do that. Versus an everyday basic couple, that's vastly no everyday dude is like, oh yeah, let me just get my girl like, 10K real quick just so she can go out there and recklessly spend. What? That's an investment. You can go invest that into a property or something like that and get returns over 10 to 20 years. There's a variety of things that you can do directly with that 10K. Like I said, rich people don't have to worry about this because they're rich. But like I said before, you have a lot of these girls who are in their 20s. They'll pay attention to these celebrity women and they'll think that this is the life that they're supposed to lead, because they're not looking through life from their own lens. They're looking at it from the perspective of other women out here, of which they want to obtain that type of lifestyle. They want to obtain the type of attention specifically from those guys. They want to obtain that type of money. So that's why, for you being 25, it is very difficult for you to try to find level-headed, like-minded women directly out there that want to be like, all right, 50-50. Because the main thing I told people about this whole like conversation is the fact of like, if you have two people in a sense using 50% of their money to put towards like the bills and everything else, that means the other 50% people are able to save. They're able to put that away. They're able to allow that to grow or whatnot or whatever, right? When you have people out here that are purely just doing 100%, that means that, all right, one person is doing 100, the other person is doing nothing, and whatever money that they got is just going directly out the door or the window. And 9 times out of 10, when it deals with women, that money is going directly out of the window, out of the door. They're not investing it. They're not putting it into gold, silver. They're not putting it into anything that's going to appreciate. It's just like, all right, I just want to buy some fashion, I want to buy some dresses, I want to get hair, makeup, things that are literally going to break and go away, things that are not going to last years. Hair, that hair is not going to last for years. That makeup is not lasting for years. Those nails, not lasting for years. The shoes, if they wear them often enough, is not lasting for years. Whatever fashion designer dress that's at a certain point in time is going to get a stain, is going to get a hole, is going to get a tear. It's not going to be worth whatever money, that $500 or $1,000 that she decided it's not going to be worth that, and she's not going to be able to resell it for that, right? So like I said, the best thing I can sit up there and tell you, being 25, don't focus on the girls directly out here. Focus on yourself. Build up your money. Build up your education. Build yourself up physically as well. Just do that. That is the best thing that you can sit up there and do, because the last thing that you want to do is happen to get into a relationship. Y'all have unprotected relations, end up with a kid, the relationship goes sour. She hates you, loathes you, whatever it is, and now you got to go through like this back and forth. Like I said, use the example of other men directly out here who have gone through those things so that you don't do it, so that you don't have to go through it, right? Because like I said, 25, you got enough time directly in front of you to still like mess around, like, hey, let me go to college, let me go do some trades or whatnot or whatever. Like I said, get yourself up, man. That's the best thing I sit up there and tell you. Don't be worrying about none of these girls. Don't feel like you're missing nothing. Build yourself directly up, because I promise you what is going to happen inevitably is that women out there are going to notice. They are going to see you while you are on your way, because that's how life works. When you have a straight direction as a man, it's stuff that you want to do, magically women will start showing up. And you're 25, that's going to sit up there and happen to you. Because what's going to happen is a lot of these girls who are 25 that don't want to do this, that don't want to do that, by the time that you hit 30 and they hit 30, their attitudes are going to be completely different, because now a lot of them girls, they're done sitting up there messing around with like in the streets and going to the clubs. Now they want to happen to get married. Now they want to happen to have kids if they don't already got them. Now they want to happen to have a husband, right? They want to have all of these things when they could have tried to get these things ahead of time, but they opted not to do it because they just wanted to, play around. They wanted to do this. They wanted to do that. They felt like they just had infinite time. But like I said, don't feel like you're missing out on anything. Don't make people make you believe that you're missing out, because you're not. You are not. The best thing that you can do is just worry about yourself, focus in on yourself, and make yourself into the best man that you want to become. It's the best thing. Z said, and this 50-50 mentality is also a failure, and it was not even a relationship. It's something where a man is afraid to just be a man. You're supposed to be a provider regardless. If you cannot step up and look at the fact that you're penny pinching and your wallet just cause this is a random woman, then don't look for a woman right now. You're not ready for a woman. You're not ready to be with a woman. Please don't waste her time just because you want to get smashed on. A lot of women don't want that. They don't want to be laying with no man after lunch. Then he later said, he was like, yeah, I will never date a man that wants to go half. He should have confidence enough to say, maybe I got this, don't worry, and it's not even about money. I'm a little bit confused. I'm a little bit because the best way I can sit up there and put it for the example that Z for all intents and purposes have stated, because men are normally the ones that are doing heavy labor, right? They're the ones that are putting their bodies for like 40, 50 years. They're doing like construction, road work. They're doing the jobs that women don't want to do, right? So the moment in time that that dude is making all of that money, he's able to bring that in because his main tool, right? His main device is his body, his God-given body, right? That's able to bear the brunt of all of that. If his body breaks down or he fractures his leg, now what? Now what are we doing? Because if we're talking about the whole thing of not going 50-50, if everything is solely dependent on that guy, right? The woman ain't doing nothing, right? She's just out there just being her. So how is she instantly going to be able to supplement that income if the dude is injured? He's not able to go back there and work. Guess what? That relationship just ain't going to work because the woman is going to be like, well, you were supposed to be the provider and now you can't provide anymore. Doesn't matter what happened to you. You got injured. That's, oh, well, that's a you problem. But you were supposed to do the job that God said that you were supposed to do. So guess what? Now I got to leave because you're not able to do the job that God said that you were supposed to do. So now as a woman, I have to go out here and find a man that can do the job that God said that men are supposed to. What are we doing? What are we doing? Because like I said, a lot of women don't think about that. A lot of women don't think about like, yo, what if this dude loses his job? They think that a dude is going to be able to instantly just go back out there the next day and find another job that's going to pull in like 80, 90 or 100K. It just be right back to work. Like, what are we doing? This is crazy. This is crazy. Now I understand to an extent of why it is that when I showed you guys before the clip where the mother was talking about her son wanted to take a girl out. She was like 15 or 16. He wanted to ask her out. The little girl simply told the son, another 15 to 16-year-old, that you can't afford me. Now I understand it. Now I completely understand why that is the thing. Now I understand. Ty said, I think I sent you something like that. Let me see. Charles said, all of the real feminists are that's crazy. It's cold-blooded. KR said, if anything, I'd rather a girl who isn't dumb. I understand that. Yeah. Z said, exactly. I believe in both building together, and that's how you become a power couple with no problem. I'm completely confused by your comments at this moment in time. Let me just tell you something. Later you said, but here's the problem I have. If a man decides he wants to see if he could dip and dabble a little bit outside the relationship on the marriage, he's bringing problems amongst the house, right? D Money says, shout out to women that ain't scared to shoot their shot. Yeah, that's bars. Chapter said, attraction is a very powerful thing. Trust me, women can pick that. Wait. Women can pick that even smells. I'm not even sure what that was supposed to mean. Family over a man. That man smells good if she's highly attracted to that guy. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Z said, and when he brings the problems amongst the house, please do not expect good outcomes from that point. From that point on, can't expect your lady or your wife to just forgive you and let it go. That's not real. I mean, I guess, but normally when it comes to that, that's marital problems that people tend to have or whatnot or whatever. And there were more than likely signs and symptoms, directly out there. Nobody is a victim when it deals with those circumstances. Because as stated before, even when it deals with the respect factor, which is love for men, a lot of women don't acknowledge respect. A guy can simply tell a woman like, yo, you're going out with your girls. All right, cool. I might not like that. Might not even like the women that you're hanging around with because of what it is that they do. But whatever, you want to sit up and do it, no problem. But I don't want you going out there wearing that. Right? You're married to this dude. You got his last name. All of this. He's simply telling you like, yo, I don't want you going out there wearing that because a lot of women will decide to leave the house as if they're single. And I'm like, that makes no sense. Like you're dressing like a single woman and you're not single. Like, what are we doing out here? And then women would be like, oh, you're just trying to control me. You're being oppressive, all this other type of, like I said, that's because the woman does not respect what it is that the man is saying. So like I said, this is how things tend to start. This is how things tend to go down, right? The woman is like, I don't want to be controlled. So then she's going out with the girls even more angrier. So now when she's out with the girls and they're flirting with a guy, guess what the woman is going to decide to do because she's mad at her husband? She's going to be at the table knowing that she's married, flirting with guys just because. And then she's going to go back home and have a conversation like, oh, you know, these guys were talking to me. We're having a good, just to sit up there and start an argument to show that, oh, I don't really have to listen to you or even be with you. Be thankful that I'm here because other guys are willing to talk to me when they see me out. Like I said, women will do things like that. And when women do things like that, this is when guys will sit up there and start doing whatever. Because again, the lack of respect is being shown in a multitude of ways, by actions, by words, everything. But, you know, whenever it deals with relationships, women always are like, oh, I'm innocent. I was good at, you know, cleaning the house. I was good at cooking. I was good at taking care of the kids. I was this. Magically, every woman, every single relationship known to men, every woman has always been perfect. It's always been the guys that are the main ones messing up. And I'm like, okay, somebody has to be the villain. Somebody has to be the designated villain. No problem. Because like I said, guys can sit up there and admit, either on social media or amongst other guys, that, or even with the person that they with, they can admit that they set up there and messed up and move on, you know, directly from that. You're not going to have women sitting up there saying like, yeah, I messed up. No. It's more like, no, you forced me to do this. You forced my hand. If you didn't act this way as a man, then I wouldn't have acted this way as a. It's crazy work. Well, you know, it'd be like that. It is crazy. Gail said, I'm saying I do not look at successful white men the way I do successful black men. White men start out with an automatic advantage. Okay, I got what you're saying, Gail. I got you. Wheezy said, but y'all cheat more than men do. Let's keep it a buck. This man going into a whole he's going into a whole nother side. Gail was like, Seji, how tall are you? I don't know, Gail. Sham said, oh man, I missed the whole hour. What up, y'all? How is everyone? We're doing pretty good. Chapter said, we all say women want a man that other women find that man attractive. That is actually a good reason for that. Yo, the Jomo, what is up? Said a man's love language is respect and a woman's love language is attention. Yeah, that's true. Pat said, I would say it's more how a woman tends to be socialized. Okay. Sham said, I'm a woman and I can't tell you that it's not the woman, or it's not that women want a man that other women find attractive. It's darker than that. You might have to delve deep into that one. Might have to read those comments there. The Jomo said that a man's love language is respect and a woman's love language is attention. Sham also said that women are more territorial than men, and so what many women like to do is steal territory. So what they're after is winning, not after the actual man. Yo, that's bars. Because if I think about high school and the amount of girls that I seen fighting over a guy, even though the woman that was going after the guy knew that he was in a relationship, I was like, And then I happen to see the exact same things when it deals with grown adults. I'm like, but like I said, nobody is innocent. But like I said, because I try to make things as even as possible. Because unless there is actually like a true victim where it's like, yo, this person literally did nothing wrong, then it is what it like. Let's say like an asteroid falls from the sky and it lands on a person. That person really, they did nothing wrong, but it just so happened that worked out that way. You know, like I said, they are a victim of said asteroid, right? But when it deals with like a lot of these relationships, only one side, you know, always tries to state that no, I'm doing this, you know, specifically for love and all this other type of stuff. Like women don't understand that men actually love hard. Like 9 times out of 10, when you look at women and they're in relationships, women can actually leave a marriage or relationship and be with another guy, be with several guys, and be completely fine and dandy. Guys will just be in that one spot. And they'll sit in that one spot for a very, very long time. The only time that you will literally see women do that is maybe, I will give you Steve Irwin's wife. After he died, that woman was not going out on no dates. She was not trying to get remarried. She was one of the rare few women I've ever seen that's like, I'm going to just sit here that person was the love of my life. He gave me everything, and nobody else can replace that or do better. A lot of men will happen to do that when it deals with relationships, when it deals with marriages. It takes a lot for guys to sit up there and like move directly out of that spot. Guys ain't really so quick. Like you can happen to see dudes like, all right, they might like sleep around here and there and whatnot, or whatever, but that's going through the motions and the emotions and all that other type of stuff. But realistically, they're not looking at that person that they're sleeping with as the next person that's going to be holding them down. Nah. It's like no, not sitting up here doing it. That guy from Texas said, "Peace, everyone. What is up? What is up? What is up?" Chapter said, "Women don't want you to be with them because you were their only option. They want to be picked amongst other preferably attractive women. They're basically competing with other women." Yeah. Sham said, "The thing about me is that I don't like competition and don't feel I should have to compete for love. It feels trashy. So for that reason, women like me won't swarm a man that has women around them." Understandable. Bugnani, what is up? What is up? What is up? Z said, "Nowadays, this is the whole opposite." Oh, you talking about to the Jomo. Holmes said, "If you are wait. I'm not even understanding what you even wrote there. You were like, if you are deleted, do you still get paid for the subscription? Like, what does that even? What do you even mean by deleted? I'm a little bit confused. Like, what do you even? Like, what even is that? Like, yo, like what? Like who? What? He said that's a blessing. What? Okay. Sham said, women who compete for men are usually very prejudiced and bigoted in their idea of men. The men become a trophy man in the same way that a trophy wife exists. A lot of women don't think that way." Z said, "I've never seen that many men and boys seek for attention, and a woman can't even do and be herself and rest in her femininity. That's irritating. The men who want submission want all the attention." Huh? The men who want submission want all the attention. Are you saying that that man wants all of the attention from the woman that he's with or married to? I don't see a problem with that. Because if a guy, because I need women to understand this, if a dude is like, okay, I'm going to basically pick you, I'm going to be with you. I feel that you are qualified enough to basically suit all of the needs of the 5 to 10 other women that I basically date. And he basically picks you and you're in a relationship. And now instead of going through that roster of 5 to 10 different looking women that dress a different type of way, different body types, and do everything differently, he's like, yo, you're basically the all in one. If he's sitting up there telling you that, yo, I just want all the attention from you, you should actually respect that. You shouldn't be at the point where it was like, nah, I ain't trying to do that. Then if you don't want to do that, that means that he's going to be trying to get that attention from somewhere else. Like I'm a little bit, I'm a little bit confused. Maybe I might have a misunderstanding here, or maybe some things might not be, coming through. You might be doing, text to speech or something. I'm not sure, but that just, I don't even know what that is. Sham said 25 is plenty of time to enjoy being single and build up your life. And then they come swarm and you can't keep them off you, bars. Then you got to worry about getting one that is attracted to your wealth and power and is actually about you. That's facts. They say one says Seji is not lying. River said, blessings to everybody, blessings to you as well. They say one said they don't think that far ahead as SEIJIHITO. Just like when they say they don't want to take care of a man, but want to be taken care of. Yeah, that's the thing that's completely crazy to me, right? So a woman is like, yo, for the duration of the relationship or the marriage, I want to be taken care of. So that could be, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, right? Well, then it comes to a point where a guy's body will sit up there and break down because of the heavy labor or because of health issues. And then women are like, yo, I'm not about to take care of you. Huh? But a dude just literally broke his back sacrificing and gave all of this life to sit up there and fulfill like your needs financially and everything like that. But now when it comes time to do something in return, you're like, no, I'm not doing that. Deuces, I'm getting divorced, and I'm dating somebody that's like, I'm dating a guy that's 25. huh? What's happening? Like that is crazy to me. And you got a lot of women on these podcasts that'll say the same thing. They'll be like, yo, I'm not taking care of no guy. If he gets, old and has health issues, I'm not taking care. I'm like, what? That's the brother. That is crazy. This is the funny part though. A lot of those women that will say that they're not going to take care of a guy when he gets older, they'll make sure to sit up there and take care of a bum though. Let it be like one of the brokest dudes directly out here. They'll let him couch surf from female house to female house, knowing that he ain't faithful, knowing that he ain't doing this, knowing that he can't contribute, knowing that he doesn't they will take care of that bum though 100%. But a dude that was actually beneficial to you in your life, that literally sacrificed and gave you everything, you're going to turn around and be like, I'm not taking care of you. That's crazy work. That is crazy work. And that's why I sit up there and say that certain women should just be with certain types of guys. Don't go out here and be trying to look for the nice guy. Don't be going out here trying to look for the guy that's marriage material or father material. No. Stay with them same couch surfers that you've been sitting up there rolling around and allowing them directly into your bedroom and do this and that while they was already with 5 women prior to you. Go out there and be with those dudes. Because like I said, it's some crazy talk directly out here. Ty was like, Seji, it's so late. It's not that I'm late. I'm just going through and reading the comments. So I'm trying to actually get, everybody's comment because I still got videos. Freedom said, and women need to be virgins if you are not getting married. I guess. I guess that's a preference. It's not realistic at this point. Because that's not the way that the world works, because social media and a lot of other types of forms of media have pretty much jacked up everybody's mind. So yeah, that's not really going to happen like that. But I guess you're throwing a wish up there. Sham said, LOL, if we dating the first few dates, we're splitting the bill. I don't know you like that, and I'm paying for myself. Maybe after a month I can pay or you can pay. It doesn't matter to me. I pay for dates. Like I say, you're one of the like the rare ones directly out there. You're one of the rare ones directly out there. DSA once said, those women that dress like they're single while in a relationship are the ones that be talking about not going half. That's a point. That is true. Fire said the undateable and the undateables and erectile dysfunction enablers. Wait, erectile dysfunction enablers. Wait, I'm confused on that one. I'm confused on them. Freedom said, what's wrong? Good men don't pick street workers. If men who are broke or etc. can't get married, so be it. You aren't getting that ring. Fire said, my first rice cooker started to malfunction. I replaced her. That's crazy. What else we got? Yuma said, yeah, for the first date, splitting the bills. Z said, I can't stand what most black men get on here and pretend like they're making all the money and black women just laying there waiting for them to give it to them. You guys are the 5% of the P. I guess what the problem, I guess you're trying to say. And then you said that there's way too many there's way too much success for black women, and there's men looking for her to take care of him. This man likes to simp for money and resources, Z said. And then you have the men who are quote unquote a good man, but he has to put the men in place. Somebody have to be responsible. If you're going to be the leaders, you have to stop looking at women. And then you said women need to stop looking for a man, especially a man with good looks. That is so 1980s and played out. Usually good looking men are the ones that got kids all over the place. Then you said the only type of woman that's more territorial than men is the ones that be on TV, but in real life, women are so mannish and desperate for men. She's becoming a pick-me, putting down other women for a man. Then you said, another thing I can't stand is how do you put down another woman for a man that's not thinking about you? Okay, you said a lot. Jesus Christ, the terminology pick me. I would like to say that I found specifically stating that only black women use this terminology. And because black women have heavily used this terminology, now you got white women and other women of other nationalities using the same term towards other women. And I'm like, oh my God. Because I've never heard another group of women sit up there and call somebody a pick me. Never, like, up until I really got on social media like this, I never heard this term before in real life. Never heard this term. Never heard it. But now it's a term that, people are just, all over I'm sorry, specifically women all over the place. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, this is getting a tad bit corny and played directly out. And the craziest thing is I've literally seen single women that will call women in relationships or marriages pick me's. And I'm like, aren't y'all trying to get to where she is? I'm like, she's saying that she respects, like, I've literally seen a woman that says that she respects, values the word of her husband, and she loves him and all the things that she basically does for him. And then women in the comment section be like, oh, you're a pick me, you're this, you're that. But I'm like, all of y'all want to get married anyway. So I'm like, what are we even talking about at this moment in time? I'm like, that's the craziest thing, because the funniest thing is, if a lot of the women that called other women pick me's, if they were married in whatever perfect relationship or whatever theory of a perfect guy that they were thinking of, if all of those women had the guys that they wanted, they wouldn't be online talking about other women. They would actually be bigging those women up. They'd be like, oh, I'm so happy, I'm so proud of you that you married and you found that one and all this other type of stuff. But because they're not in that place, now it's like, all right, you're a pick me. Which is basically trying to talk down directly on that woman because she loves, respects, values a guy in his opinion, in his word. Okay. All right. That's and going back to the other thing that you said before about you wanted to say like, oh, is you acting as if just men are just out here making the money and women are just sitting up here waiting. And when we go out here in life and you happen to look at how it is that women tend to go for guys, again, I'm going to reiterate, a lot of women tend to go for men who are making more than them. So they're not going for guys that they, in a sense, have to invest in or help build up or contribute to. They're looking for a guy that's already established. So 9 times out of 10, if a guy is already established, he's going to 9 times out of 10 bring in more money than her, because if we're going to go by statistics, right, as people like to say, men make more money than women. Even if they're in the same fields, men make X amount of more dollars than women, right? That was the main argument that a lot of women wanted to keep bringing up and stating, right? So if we're going with that whole stat or that theory, we're going to then apply that to a relationship, and then that would mean that that man is going to be bringing in more money, even if they are the same education, working the exact same field. That guy is still going to be bringing in more money. Women inherently want a guy that is security. They're going to want a guy that's going to be able to just buku bucks, throw money, all this other type of stuff. Just going to put it directly out there like that. Because if we were to sit up there and be honest, when we look at everything, a lot of women are selfish. A lot of women are not about trying to share and give and do this and that. Women are about what it is that they can get. And you're a man, you're able to provide, they're going to sit up and see whatever it is that they can get directly out of them. This is why you got these girls who are 18, 19, 20, 25, and they're specifically targeting men who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Because they're about the selfishness. They're about going after what it is that they can get from said guy, because they feel that men out here are supposed to give them this, that they are owed this, that this is the expectation that men are supposed to deliver on. Just saying. Kay said, I don't believe that no more. That used to be the case, but then we were in middle school. Girls jumped another girl over a boy that she liked. Freedom said, men built the world, women just lay and disrespect it. Bruss said, oh, you going over the Bible stuff. Z said, now you have 2 or maybe 3 baby mamas who supposed to not like each other until they learn what kind of baby daddy that they have, and they all want to come together and put this dude on child support. And while they all come together to put this dude on child support, now who's the problem? All three of the baby mamas that gotten to know each other, or the dude with the community? I'm going to say that everybody's the problem. Z, let me just highlight that so people know where I'm at in the comments, right? I'm going to say that both parties are the problem. Time and time again, I done sat up there and told dudes like stop going out here and getting and laying up with random women and getting them pregnant. But again, if you allow these dudes opportunities to be with you unprotected, who are you going to sit up there and blame? Because it's my body, my choice. All three of those women, my body, my choice, decided to have unprotected relations with a guy who has the community stick. And they decided to allow that community stick directly into whatever area, right? So now they want to find that this one dude is the problem when all three of them should be looking at each other, but like, yo, we made the wrong life choices. How did we all three of us decide to be directly with this guy? That's crazy. That like nobody is the victim. Nobody is the victim. That dude made that bed by sleeping with those three women, and those three women made the bed as well by having unprotected relations. Like I said, I'm not doing this whole thing where like women are the, I'm not doing this. I am not doing this because I'm tired of it. Like I said, I'm tired of women trying to always portray themselves as always being a victim of something. It's like, and that's crazy to me. Like it's like what people like to call black people, like every single time, like, oh, black people are professional victims. I see a lot of women out here wanting to be professional victims. Like I said, take it from a guy that's tried to guide women or girls during the time of high school to like not be with certain guys, and y'all still didn't want to listen. Like, what are we doing here? I'm not about to sit up there and be the blame for that. It's like you made that choice to be with the dude that I told you that you shouldn't be with. If I already told you he already got 2 kids, why would you not think that you're going to be the third one? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Like that's crazy work. That is 100% crazy work. D Money said, I thought the goal was to get picked. I thought so too. Sham said, LOL, first boyfriend I had, snagged him with my cooking. I was running the grill at the cookout and he liked my ribs. First date we had was the coffee house and we split the bill. Crow said, white men, wait. White men do not, I don't even know what that means. I'm not even sure if this English. You said, unless they slip through the cracks and make more money. I'm not even sure what that is. Z said, now he wants all the attention, not only from his girlfriend and his wife. He wants attention from everybody else, and she gets no type of attention. That's what I was saying. Huh? You said the only thing you're supposed to do for a man when it comes to taking care of a man and your womanly duties is making sure that he's okay from a long day's work and miss him and show him that you miss him. The main thing that you missed directly out of that whole thing was respect. Like let me put it like this. I can have cats. I can have dogs. If I'm gone for 8 hours, they're going to come up to me and let me know that they miss me. Right? Cats can sit up there and sit up there and do that. Some people got their dogs trained where it's like, yo, as soon as I come home, like, yo, just pull up the slippers for me. People got videos like that where they just train their dogs and sit up there and do that. So what you're in a sense listing is the same thing that animals in a sense do. The main thing that we're missing here is the word respect. Anybody can miss anything at any time if they want to. People can opt to miss something or people can opt not to. But the main thing is respect. And like I said, whenever conversations basically happen when it deals with men and women never bring up respect. They never happen to talk about it because, again, that's not a part of a woman's thought process. That's not how women basically roll, how they perceive, life and how it is for them to walk as a woman. It's not even about respect. It's about love. It's about that attention. Those two are within the same bounds. Just like for men, it's respect and love. You said the problem is that she said, or that's the problem. Said she, wait. That's who they take care of, and that's the problem. The bum and the woman are tired. Are tired of taking care of bum men. Don't need a woman to take care of him except respect him and his manhood, I guess. Happy said the way that you describe the relationship is kind of like intense. I don't know. I feel like you genuinely love someone, you won't have to think so hard about respect and priorities. In a perfect world, that would be correct, but we're living in a broken world, broken society, broken families, and everything like that. So whatever value a person has not felt within themselves, they're not going to give or deliver that to another person. Um, because men work off of respect, we'll also show that respect directly to women, because that's our thing. That's what we tend to do. Um, but when it just so happens to be in the reverse, when it deals with women, it's not again that exact same thing, right? It doesn't tend to go in that exact same area, if that makes any type of sense. But I get what you're saying. In a perfect world, it shouldn't be that difficult. You wouldn't have to think about it. It would just happen. But because we're dealing with people who are emotionally imbalanced, because we're dealing with people who are emotionally broken, who are jaded from either families or situationships or actual relationships, you're going to have a lot of pieces that are missing. And you're going to have grown adults that are walking around trying to fill in those pieces as they're trying to also find a perfect person and get that relationship. And it's like it doesn't, in a sense, make sense. Right. Sham said a lot of people don't understand respect is not given, it is earned. It's not earned entirely by what you do, but who you are as a person. Respect comes from love, not with command. Right. Z said, but you can't get mad at the young ones that get with bums because nobody told her to be careful and stay away from those bums. Meanwhile, you got red pills is automatically dating Wonder Breads. I literally just gave an example of me sitting up there trying to tell the women of my generation growing up to not be with bumps. Like that's the one thing that's crazy to me. Like I said, for Z, I don't know what type of guys that you hung out around when you were in high school or whatnot, or whatever. But these were conversations that I had where I knew like the women or the girls during the time. I would try to navigate them and tell them like, yo, you should go here, you shouldn't go there. Because the main common occurrence that would just so happen to have, like after people are done crying, they'll be like, man, I wish more guys were like you. And I'm like, oh, I just got stabbed. Like that's exactly what that is. I'm like, that's an underhanded compliment. And if a lot of men are actually honest, a lot of men have gotten that exact same quote unquote compliment by women. Like, I wish more guys were like you, but yet you wouldn't date guys like me. So what are we saying? We know the types of guys that you like. We know that you want to chase after these guys. You want to be a baby maker directly for these guys. But when you actually got a guy that is decent, that respects you, that values you, that cares and listens to everything that you say, you're like, you're not my type. You're lame. You're bum. You're this. You're that. And then you're like, there was nobody around to sit up there and tell these young girls like who to stay away from. No, there are. It's the fact that a lot of women and a lot of girls don't want to listen. They don't want to listen. I'm here to sit up there and tell you that because I watched it. One of the girls I set up there, Trila, one of the girls that I set up there and tried to guide, I was like, yo, you're not pregnant at the time. It seems like this ain't the right dude directly for you. All this other type of stuff, yada, yada. This was like back in like high school, right? Because at the moment of time, we were supposed to like some things were supposed to like work out there, but she got into a fight with a girl at school and she got expelled. That was the quickest expulsion that I've ever seen in my life, which is crazy, but she got expelled. So after she got expelled, I still kept in contact with her during high school, and she was telling me about everything that was going on, her feelings and everything like that. But she still ended up going with this other type of guy, basically derailed whole life and everything like that. And somehow, some way, I remember last conversation she was sitting up there telling me I think she was like homeless or something, and that she was potentially expecting a child. And I'm like, I didn't have nothing to say. I'm like, yo, I feel sorry for you. Like mentally, that's what I'm saying. Cause I'm like, out of all the things I sat up there and told you, out of all the conversations we didn't have, you still opt to derail your life for a guy that you're not going to be with when you're 25, when you're 30, when you're 40. And I'm like, yo, it just is what it is. So it's like, miss me with the whole thing of saying that there are not guys out here to specifically tell women who to dodge and who to be with, because there are guys. Because trust me, a lot of women out here have the quote unquote guy friends that try to guide them and try to tell them certain stuff, but a lot of them don't want to sit up there and listen. So there are guys that do try to implement certain things. Again, a lot of girls and a lot of women don't want to listen. They want to sit up there and go out there and have their experience and do this and that, and then they want to turn around and cry and be the victim. It's crazy work. It's crazy, crazy work. Z said, all you got to do is just find you a best friend, a partner, and a friend that's not that damn difficult. Every black man making it difficult. I'm starting to hear y'all, and it's like complaining that you don't have no woman yet when you hear women say that she doesn't need a man. Ask her why. She tells you the truth. Wait, what? She's not dumb. She knows. So you said a lot of women who date men, well, you said complaining that you don't have no woman yet. When you hear women say she don't need a woman, ask her why. She'll tell you the truth. She's not dumb. She'll know what she experienced. Wait, what? Then you said a lot of women who, wait, what was that? You said a lot of women who date men or married men have children by them. Most of those men were working class men. If she tells you she doesn't need a man based on her experience with one, she needs a break. Okay, let's go with that, right? So if going by your example, if a woman needs a break and yada yada yada, all this other, so stop going out there, stay abstinent, stop going out there on dates, stop going out there talking to guys, stop going out there having kids. Have that one kid that you said it was a bad experience, a bad relationship. Sit there and rest. Take as long as a break that you need to sit up there and take. It makes no sense to sit up there and say that you don't need a man and all this other type of stuff, but you still want to go out there and you want to have unprotected relations with men. That don't make no sense. So then you're just setting yourself up for failure again. You're setting yourself up for heartbreak again. You're setting yourself up to be connected to a guy that you know ain't going to, take care of the kids again. Like I said, ain't nobody victims. Because like I said, we ain't doing this. We're not doing this. Like, it's massively crazy. Happy said, I think we need to take into account that a woman and a man's family, sometimes there's family aspects that influence how a relationship can be. No, that's true. That's 100% true. That's true. Ty says, Seji, when you going to play Returnal? I still got to buy a hard drive directly. And shout out to Ty for getting me Returnal. Much love, respect, and appreciation, brother. Much love, respect, and appreciation. Yeah, I got to get a hard drive because I'm going to need like a terabyte, because what I need to do is just separate the games on Steam and put them all on that hard drive, and everything else is, videos and everything else like that. So that's what I got to do, because trust me, before I did this live stream, I had to try to make space just so I can put the videos up there for y'all. Happy said, if your father is one of a kind man, he tends to have a very high moral and financial expectation of the woman his daughter of the man his daughter will marry. I think that's what you meant, because you wrote woman, but I think that might be like an auto correction that your what's the name tried to do. But no, yeah, I understand that. Sham said that's biological clock is ticking strong, and so those hormones are getting very loud when you're brand new. As you get older, it gets worse. So it's really is about how that girl is raised before the clock starts ticking. True. Happy said, I feel as though sometimes parents, especially some of the old school ones from middle class backgrounds, have a very high expectation. And these days, it's hard to come by a really good man or woman. This is the thing. It's not tough. It was a term or wordage or adage or whatever that people like to say, that life is only as hard as you make it. And the main thing that I like to tell people is that if you really want to find something out here in life, you can go out there and find it. You just got to do the digging. You got to get your hands dirty. The fact of the matter is that a lot of people don't want to get their hands dirty, right? They don't want to go through the frustrations. They don't want to go through the anxiety. They don't want to go through the mental gymnastics that it takes in order to get what it is that they truly desire. They feel like it should just walk up and just bump into them, and then, oh my God, that's how a lot of people feel. A lot of people feel that a lot of things should just be handed to them on a silver platter, that they don't got to move nowhere. They could just stay and just be exactly who it is that they are, and things will just happen, when that's not how the world works. Like I said, you got dudes all over the planet that are literally uprooting in order to go find a woman. You don't have women all over the world, but like, okay, I'm about to sit up there and move to India to go find a guy. I'm about to move to the UK. I'm about to move to Africa. I'm about to move to South America. I'm about to move to China. No. Women are going to stay directly where they are. And they'll be like, all right, I need the whole world to come find me and search me out. Like I said, it's only one group that's moving. Men are the ones that will sit up there and literally leave everything and uproot to be with another person. Ty said, let me know. Hopefully I have Wi-Fi by then. Okay, I got you, brother. I got you. Happy said, see, that's the thing. You have to get your hands dirty. That's what I mean. It doesn't need to be easy, but it's a bit sad that, hold on, give me a second. Let me see. My bad. I had to answer the phone. You said, see, that's the thing. You need to get your hands dirty. That's what I mean. It doesn't need to be easy, but it's a bit sad. It takes so much effort to find a good person. I mean, yeah, but that's how life is. In order to find the good or the best things out there, it's going to take a while. It's going to take some time. And realistically, for even though to an extent and not to an extent, people have a lot of time, right? But it depends on how it is that people want to spend that time. A lot of us, we want to spend our time on meaningless stuff, right? A lot of us, we want to spend time on things that we like to do, right? Which is basically useless because a lot of times we're not making money directly off of the things that we like to do. If people are just 100% honest. So you add up those hundreds or those thousands of hours that you spent on doing something that you purely wanted to do, and you apply those hours, those hundreds or those thousands of hours, and you apply that to you searching for a relationship, I promise you and guarantee you, you would have been found that person. You would have been married. You would have been in that successful or that happy relationship, or you would have at least, been able to look through a bracket and been able to say like, okay, I at least got like 5 people I can pick from. Let's see how this basically works out. But again, a lot of people are not willing to become proficient. They want to be proficient in things that are not going to really add to their life versus things that they want in their life that they want to add, and have those same things basically propel them, upward to where it is that they feel that they should be as a person, as a human being, in society or whatnot or whatever. Go said they're all just 3 O's right now. It's cold-blooded. That is cold-blooded. But like I said, that has been quite a conversation that we have had at this moment in time. It is time to actually move on to the next video here. So let's take a look at this.
I'm over here winning, baby.
Can you use headphones? Do you mind if you use headphones?
What do you mean?
Because you're being loud.
How can you hear me? You have your headphones.
I have my headphones, and I still hear you.
So you don't want me to talk? I'm still going to be able to talk.
It's not that. I'm just asking kindly if you could use your headphones.
What, do you hear my voice? You still going to hear my voice?
And her voice.
I'm her.
Okay.
You don't hear nobody's voice but mine.
Okay.
I don't know how you hear me. He got his headphones on. You want me to speak lower? I don't know what's wrong with these people. I don't know. I have no idea. Anyways, like I was saying, this is my 3rd day back working out. My birthday's shooting in a couple days. As you guys can see. Right. I don't know what that was about. But as you can see, my stomach is fat as shit. I think she's talking. I'm trying to keep my composure. I don't want to piss me off though. Anyways. Back to what I was talking about. I forgot. He said he's able to hear y'all too. That's what he was saying. He said he can hear y'all.
Right. So let's just go back. Right. So this guy right there was next to Clarissa Shields working out, and he was sitting up there stating that, I can hear you, whatnot, whatever. Can you use your headphones? As if to try to say, I guess, that she was listening to a video that was too loud. But I'm like, bro, all of that stumping, I literally hear his heavy ass feet hitting directly on that little conveyor belt. And I'm hearing the stumping, I'm hearing like the motor, and then he probably has like something, going off in his ears. I'm like, how are you hearing anything? You should be listening to your heartbeat, it's a heartbeat, your heartbeat. You should be listening to your breathing, whatever you're telling yourself internally. You got headphones directly in, which should also cut down on 50+% directly of the noise. And then on top of that, you can feel and hear the vibration of the treadmill directly on you on top of the motor. I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about right now? Like, you just wanted to say something because you just wanted to sit up there and say something. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, I promise you at this moment, like, this dude would not have been saying nothing to a dude. Let it have been a dude that was like a bodybuilder. He wouldn't have said nothing. He would have minded his business. He would have kept running. He probably would have complimented. He was like, yo, man, I see that you worked out. I'm trying to, get into your shape. It's like, yo, keep up that good work. What's your right? He would have did some stuff like that. He wouldn't have been trying to interrupt and sit up there and say, like, yo, can you use your headphone? Where you coming from? And like I said, there's always these people that want to pull up to the scene and that want to do this type of stuff like this. But you would not do this to nearly other men directly out there. And I'm like, you're talking to Clarissa Shields, who is a boxer. That's some crazy work. That is some crazy work. Because like I said, Clarissa Shields kept her composure. If that was like a Javante Davis, he would have got probably real disrespectful. It would have been some words. He probably would have stopped that machine real quick. He was like, yo, my man, who you talking to? It's like, yo, I'm not quiet or nothing now. It's like, now I'm about to get even loud. It would have been a whole nother thing. It would have been a whole nother thing. Like I said, that's crazy to me. That is crazy. That is crazy. Diabolical. But shout out to Clarissa Shields being the GOAT. And the other crazy thing is looking underneath the comment section on X and seeing a whole bunch of people wanting to, try to come at her. But again, it's the usual suspects that want to always have something negative to say about her, because when it's these white girls out here that's boxers, they'll never be saying that. They always be trying to praise, pedestalize, and say that they're the closest thing close to God and all this other type of stuff, and they can do no wrong and yada yada yada. But when it comes to Clarissa Shields, magically all of these people want to come out the blue and they want to, start trying to pour on all of their negativity, no matter what championships that she got, no matter what belt she got, no matter if she's represented the United States when it dealt with boxing in the Olympics. It's crazy work. Crazy work. Crazy work. Well, like I said, that's how real the hatred is. Happy said, I may have an unpopular opinion, but I'm just going to say, he was like, his headphones may suck. I mean, that may be the case, but that's a personal problem. You gotta, get some Sennheisers or something. You got to get something different. Dom said, I don't care who she is, but she's wrong. No, she's not. She's not wrong. Like, you just like him, you're being stupid. She didn't do nothing wrong. Her voice wasn't even loud. That's the craziest part. Like, even during a conversation, she didn't even raise her voice is at a normal tone. Normal tone. But this dude is talking about, can you use your headphones? What is using the headphones going to do? What is that going to? That's not going to make her voice lower. She's still going to have to talk up. Now she's going to have to talk higher because she can't actually monitor the volume of her voice because the headphones are basically blocking it. It doesn't allow you to hear what the height of your voice is. So that's going to actually make it worse. It's like, do people not think about this stuff? I swear people don't actually think about this stuff before they decide to type and start saying. It's like I said, I got tons of headphones. I got closed ear and open ear headphones. I got bone conducting headphones. And I can tell you for certain, as being a tech person, none of those headphones allow you to know your own voice level. So if I'm talking to somebody, I'm going to talk louder because I feel, because I can't hear myself, that I need to speak up so that I can hear myself and they can hear me, which then in turns make the whole situation louder. What? Like, yo, that's crazy. That is 100% crazy. That is crazy. Will says she doesn't make enough money to have her own personal gym. She might be training for a fight somewhere. And as fighters, they have to go, they might go to different states. So she's not, it's not like she got a Floyd type money where she can be like, all right, I'm about to just erect the gym wherever I go around the world. She can't sit up there and do that. She got to deal with whatever it is that she got. So if she got to go to an open space or whatever, she's going to, work out directly there. Like I said, I respect that. It ain't no ducking or dodging. Training is training. Whatever she got is whatever she got. You just going to sit up there and make do, you know? But yeah, she don't got money like that. It's like I said, it'd be complete. Trust me, if she had Floyd money, she would just sit up there and build a gym. She would just have people like, yo, come fly out and deliver the stuff directly to me, no matter where she's going. That's how she would sit up there and do it. Shout out to Flint. Shout out to Flint. Sham said, she's not wrong. She's not even loud. He needs to stop being nosy and actually turn on the headphones. Yeah. That's another thing too. He probably had his stuff set to a low tone so that he can just so happen to hear the conversation, because people like them always want to be nosy. They always want to know what it is that black people are talking about. And there's been a multitude of times I have literally watched black people minding their own business, and I have seen white people just stop just to hear what the conversation is about that black people are referring to, especially if they might be talking like real excited or whatnot or whatever. I'm like, yo, mind your business. Like carry on about your day. Just move forward. This don't got nothing to do with you. But it be like that. One of many said Clarissa is fine. I've said the same thing. And you will see a varying of degree of people online that want to try to talk about her looks, but I'm like, bro, at the end of the day, she's up here. She got pictures from doing the Olympics or whatnot or whatever, pictures all throughout the years. A lot of people that want to always talk about Clarissa Shields looks, they have nothing up there on X, nothing up there on Twitter, nothing up there on IG. And especially for the guys, a lot of the guys that talk about Clarissa's looks are overweight. I'm just going to be real. They're overweight. The last time they actually seen anything below was probably back when they were like 15. They can't even do any of the workouts or the exercises that she does. And they're probably not even making anywhere near the type of money that she makes using her God-given talent, which is her hands, which is her body. And like I said, that's crazy work. I'm like, how are you going to sit up there and talk about somebody that's doing something that you could never even sit up there and do? It's crazy work. Diabolical, but it'd be like that. Gail said not wanting to hear people talk in public. Is that psychosis? One of many said ear hustling. Yeah, that's the term. Yeah. Will said he's a clown too, though. And 10-4 says he. Hey, I got you. Much love, respect, and appreciation, brother. Much love, respect, and appreciation. Shout out to the GWOAT, aka T-Rex, aka Clarissa the GWOAT Shields. Shout out to that woman and her relationship with Papoose, her being happy and ecstatic and everything like that. Let's go to the next. Do I want to do this? Because that one is a little bit of a longer video. Yeah. So the video I was going to go into is a longer video. So I'll save that one actually for last. And I'm going to go to the other ones up here, right? So I had to actually get rid of the music that was in the background, but a woman is going to
Let me be clear.
explain.
I don't care what women want to do with their bodies. Okay. This lady got a nice body and she into yoga. So that makes sense for her to post this type of content. So we're not getting into that. The issue I have is let's not play dumb here. Okay. You're posting a video. You are mostly naked. You're in a position that although it's yoga and it's stretching, it's also a little sexual. Like let's call it what it is. And then you have the nerve in your caption to have a disclaimer. So you didn't know that when you decided to come on the internet half naked, that people, men especially, were going to have a reaction to you? Huh? And before you girls want to come into the comments, I'm not talking about any kind of violent act happening because of what someone wears. This has nothing to do with that because y'all love bringing that up. I'm simply speaking about the fact that you present yourself in a way that can also be looked upon sexually and then be mad about someone looking at you sexually. Because the fact of the matter is she could have done everything she did in that video and had on yoga leggings and had on a yoga top. And that's not the decision that she made. I respect a woman that will come on this internet and post a thirst trap and admit that, yes, baby, I am posting a thirst trap for whatever the reason is. The rest of y'all know exactly what your intentions are, or you're fully aware of what the outcome could be based on your actions, and then you get mad at the outcome.
Mhm.
Stay safe.
So let's just roll back there, right? So let me try to move that back over, right? So this is the woman in that post, right? I'm just going to automatically assume by the shape of everything that obviously that's not God-given work. That is the work of man and sculpting by a doctor somewhere in California or Florida. And she said, edited, kindly note that this is a yoga and wellness page. Please do not follow me if you don't have a genuine interest in the subject. That is the dumbest disclaimer I have ever seen on a page. You know that you're doing a pose like this and you got the body shape that you got, and you're going to leave a disclaimer to tell men like, oh, don't subscribe to me if you're not into yoga. Where do you think we are? Men are attracted to what it is that they're attracted to, but you're telling men not to be attracted to this, even though you know that primarily women are not the demographic that you're aiming towards. You know that you're doing this and you got everything jiggling in there because that's going to attract men. That's going to have the comment section. That's going to have the engagement. The algorithm is going to be going wild. You know what that's going to sit up there and do, but you want to sit up there and just play stupid. This is, like I said, this is what guys be talking about. This is what guys be talking about. She put that disclaimer up there because she knew darn well who it was going to attract, who was going to be leaving comments, who was going to be leaving compliments. And you're trying to tell men to don't be attracted to you, but be attracted to yoga. Anthony said, what was it? Denise Rivers said, what's downward dog move? Sham said, I can't tell what's happening. Does she not have any bottom? No. She has bottoms completely on. She's just wearing the, like the underwear, type of thing, where you got some women that want to film themselves going to the gym and they're wearing like these boy shorts and they're claiming that this is workout gear. I'm like, dog, this is not workout. I can make out everything that God has sculpted for you. Everything. And you're telling me that this is workout gear. No, get out the gym. Get out the gym. Because no, we're not. No. We're not playing these games. We're not playing these games. But like I said, it's completely crazy. That is crazy. That is diabolical. Let me tell you. But like I said, this is the society that we live in. This is what a lot of people want to do. Mo was like, her body looks like a wasp nest. I see it. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Well, let's go to. Gail was like, I'm hollering. Let's go to the next video.
The audacity to come on this here app and say, as a man, I have gained a certain level of income, and all I want now is for my wife to be a stay-at-home wife, stay-at-home mom, so she can help me make even more money. How dare he? How dare he have requirements? How dare he do everything that we as women say we want men to do and then think he gonna get something in return? The audacity must come in a bundle pack. Y'all see how silly that sounds? We expect these men to be providers, protectors, look a certain kind of way, come with a certain kind of body, if you know what I mean. We expect these men to spoil us, be emotionally available, make us feel special, be our safe place, be a wonderful father. Y'all expect so much from these men, and these men say, all I want is for you to cook for me and keep the house clean and do nasty stuff to me from time to time. No! You want a maid? Hire one. You want to cook? Hire one. You want a prostitute? Hire one. All I want is to be in a position to where my wife's income is so insignificant that she's actually costing us money by working. You want to control her. Guys, I just want y'all to think about something. We set the expectation, they meet the expectation, and then y'all still have a complaint on why they shouldn't get what they need and want in return. And if y'all are so worried about the financial abuse, about this man taking and cheating and taking everything with him, put your name on the deed. Make sure your name is on that bank account. Make sure your name is on the business. And watch this. If he refuses, don't quit your job. Matter of fact, you shouldn't even be marrying a man and having babies with a man like that, right? Ladies, all I'm saying is, if you want a good man and this man is doing everything that he is supposed to do, give him what he needs in return. Y'all be talking about men cheat. Some, not all, cheat because they ain't getting what they need at home. And I said it. I said the quiet part out loud, okay?
Yeah, the comments that y'all be leaving sometimes set up there in red like Sham's comment. Oh man, that's crazy. Oh man. Oh, that's crazy. Oh man. I'm right there with Gail crying. Let me tell you, deodorant is gone right now. Cause I'm sitting up here holding in laughs right now. Oh man, that is oh man, that's crazy. That's crazy. Gail was like, my uncle would have said that's some good getting right there. I believe it. That's that, southern talking there. But to what the woman stated in the video, she is correct. No matter how it is that a man is able to do certain things directly out here, a woman can always say that they want more or they expect this or whatnot, whatever, and a guy could deliver on all of those key notes. And then if a guy say that he simply wants two things, a woman is like, no, you're trying to control. What do you think that you have a slave? Now you think that I owe you something because you're doing your job of providing. And I'm like, you have to be kidding me at this moment in time. So a guy can provide, he can protect you, he can make you feel safe, he can love on you and all of this stuff. But if he asks for one or two things, out of all of the great deal of things, out of all of the moving of the world that he's doing, he asks for two things. It's a problem. Like I said, the goalpost always gets moved. Every single time. Every single time. It don't matter what happens. Again, somebody has to be the designated villain, and it's always going to be men. that's just how it's going to, work out. That's just how it's going to happen. Sham was like, LOL, I'm sorry, I'm just telling the truth. Oh man, that is hilarious. Let me tell you. So let's go to the next video.
For the 5th, it's supposed to be like a world march. You know what I'm saying? Because of what's going on in the world right now. Black people. No, we already had this conversation. Don't you take your tail and go march nowhere.
Bars.
We are on nap session. We don't have no capes. Okay? We ain't Captain Saving nobody.
Bars.
Okay? We ain't going. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Somebody is asleep in the background. I heard that.
Going. Don't go outside. Go ahead, go in the house. Get your meal together. Cook what you gonna cook for that night, that day, whatever. But don't you go nowhere marching. And if somebody say, "Can you come?" No, we can't come with you, baby. We been marching for a long time. Tag you with. We ain't doing it. You understand what I'm saying to you? Okay? You stay in the house. This ain't our fight.
Her husband is knocked out in the background. Let me tell you.
I ain't got to say how many years. Okay? We ain't got nothing to do with this. We done, baby. We finished. All right? Tag. Y'all turn. Black people, I love you. You know what to do. Bye.
Demon was like, a real man would, Seji. Oh man. But yeah, everything she said, because I didn't know anything about this up until I ran through this video, and she said April 5th, people are supposed to be out there marching. I'm right there with that. Black people, y'all better not be out there marching. Again, there's nothing I can do when it deals with Black people that are away from social media and all of these other types of things. But like I said before, there's no reason for us to go out there marching and and doing any of those things. Because at the moment in time that we decide to march, this is when the police and the military and everybody else is going to be trying to mobilize. This is when you're going to see us on CNN and Fox News, and they're like, "Oh, they just sent out the tear gas. They got the attack dogs. They're doing this. They're pulling in the police tanks, and that's all that's going to happen. They're going to make black people the poster children. That's all that's going to sit up there. It's going to be the same thing that they've done, but it's going to be way worse. It's going to be way worse, way worse, way worse. So, like I said, black people stay indoors. For the other black people that decide to go out there, be safe. I don't know what else to sit up and tell you. That's all I got for you. That is all I get. Rivers said, for who those days are over for the hospital system. Sham said, I get too bored. I need to work a job. I need to be stimulated intellectually. Otherwise, I'm getting depressed. I can't be the stay-at-home mom, but hey, I love the people who can. Okay, I get that. No problem with that. I get that. So now we're going to be dealing with a whole nother video, and you guys have heard me talk about Whole Foods before. And let me tell you, I will 100% be suing Whole Foods. This dude needs to be looking for a lawsuit on how this happened. And then this is also going to go into the aspect of what I told you guys before about the Black and Brown Coalition. So let's get directly into this longer form video.
Oh yeah, we got a lawsuit now. Come on. Where you going? Come on. I want a refund for all this. I want a refund for where's the manager? You can't tell me shit. Tell me don't come back. What if it's you? I want a refund. Where's the manager at? Is he the manager? I am the manager. I want the real manager. Yes. Okay. Are you the manager? Okay. Now, what did you say to me?
Do you have a receipt?
For what?
For the.
Why?
What do you mean why?
Yeah. Why?
Because you didn't purchase. That's all of our product right there. And you didn't pay for it.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
No.
Take it.
You get sued.
Once it's stolen,
You get sued. What's your name?
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Your ass getting sued. Your ass getting sued. See this? Hey, excuse me. I've been accused of stealing, so I want to return everything I got.
Okay. Do you have the receipt?
Yeah.
They'll be right with you.
No, I don't want this. He accused me of stealing this, so I'm returning it all.
Okay, Mr. Manager's coming right now, sir.
Is this him right here?
No.
No, but that's the one who was accusing me of stealing, so that's who the problem is. Where you go?
He's coming.
You see a black person sitting there eating, he think we stealing. Okay, well take it all back then. We're taking it all back.
You want the return? Give them the receipt. Give them the receipt and then we'll do the return.
This guy said that where's my fucking receipt? What does that total say right there? Just tell her.
233.
Pay how?
Pay how?
Pay how?
Pay today.
How?
By debit. Don't
I'm sorry. I thought. Okay, here. All of it. I want everything returned. And that way you can keep this. How about that?
Okay.
Manager.
All right, but you shouldn't be in your bag.
What you talking about? This is my bag. What you tell me shouldn't be in my bag? Shit paid for already. What are you talking about?
What's the total on it?
Didn't you just hear him say 2?
233.
Why you all up on me? No, okay. You don't be coming up to me and accusing me of stealing it. Bill, we'll move back some. Could you move back off me?
Why you mad?
Go ask some Mexicans that. Tell me go ask some Mexicans for they. I know this racist. Yeah, this guy right here. Your ass getting sued, buddy. This ain't nothing but a racist Mexican. That's all. That's all it is. He saw a black person sitting there eating good, chilling, and he couldn't stand it. He couldn't stand that shit. This guy, this racist Mexican.
I wasn't racist. All I asked was
racist
Mexican. All I asked for was a receipt.
Ain't none of your biz with the top ball. You saw me. Ask everybody in the store for their receipt then. You just coming up to me for it. Because you're a racist, that's why. Where you going, racist? Come back up here, racist.
You want a return? We'll give you a return.
No, because I stole everything, right?
No, I didn't say.
No.
All I said was you have a receipt. That's all I asked.
You don't get to ask me what the. You ain't none of your business what I got. If I paid for it already, it's mine. You don't walk up to nobody and ask for a fee just because you see them sitting there.
Security said that they saw you grab some stuff from the hot bar, sat down.
Security a goddamn lie.
All right.
Whoever told you that lied to you.
Okay.
As you can see. As you can see. So he should be fired.
All right.
He lied to you. Whoever told you that lied to you.
You don't have that hot bar put with you?
That's what I was eating, but I stole it, so I want that back too. Because I got to go through all this. I can't even sit here and chill and eat what I bought.
So you had 227.38 cents return. Do you have the debit with you? Ending in 45.
Now, what about, it's more than that, ain't it? What's on there? You said 233.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
You missed something. Pardon?
I have everything's here is returned.
Well, it has to add up to this amount. Because that's everything.
Nothing's good.
You missed something. What do you mean they saying something because I was black sitting there chilling?
Sir, that's not true, bro. I'm black. We have black security.
Oh, so you the one told them that I stole this?
I never told them anything.
Okay, well they said y'all did. He just said, your security said I stole it.
I would never say that.
Well, that's what the guy just said.
He would never say that unless you're 100% sure. Bro.
He just said it.
You gotta yell at me, bro.
Well, you ain't gotta be standing all over me either.
I'm security. I can.
Okay, but you don't have to.
The scene, sir.
Oh,
right next to you. You can
Security is doing too much.
Right next to you. And I'm also.
And I work at a Whole Foods. I ain't never seen security.
Ain't no damn car. It don't matter.
There's be a lot of people in the comment section wanting to talk about Victim Olympics and whatnot. Y'all don't even know what y'all talking about. You probably never even been in a Whole Foods. Never probably even worked in a Whole Foods. Because, hold on.
Yeah, this is going to go up on Facebook and everywhere. This is going everywhere.
Oh, you security? No, you good?
It's going on TikTok, Facebook, whoever, Johnny Carkin firm. That's why I told you, move back. Then you won't be on camera. I'm not doing that, but talk behind that. That's it.
You have the debit in it with you?
Yeah. Although I use my phone, but I get it out. Got more than that in my goddamn wallet. I want to keep this going. Let me see something. I got more than that in my wallet right here. I got more than that in my wallet, but yeah, I'm still in stuff. That white sitting there taking all kinds of laying down. Anybody said nothing there. He the one over there stealing, going over there and coming back and sitting down eating. Ain't going through no fit, but it's me. Okay, you just assumed out it must be the black guy they talking about. That still ain't the price. That's who for stealing.
I got some clowns in chat real quick.
Yeah, there we go. You ready? Because I'm ready to get the car out of here.
Educate some people.
Look, racist Mexican. Saw the black person sitting there, the white guy laying right there. They go over there sitting down eating and shit. Ain't nobody, but you gonna come to me. Boy, I tell you, give me all my money back. Look at this. They had to refund me this amount of money because they said I was stealing.
Why are you still sitting there? The dude got his refund. He's not tearing up the store. He ain't doing nothing. Why are you still standing there? You could be doing anything.
The white dude's still over there laying down. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Security's still there. Why y'all still there?
He's talking about I was taking something. You dirty bastard.
Right. So this is because I got a lot of clowns directly in chat. And as somebody, as I told y'all before, I worked literally in Whole Foods before 4 years. I ain't never seen security just pull up like that or at any moment in time. Please. And there's have been people stealing directly from Whole Foods before. And I want to sit up there and let people know this. You are able, when you buy your stuff, or even during the process of buying your stuff, they have a hot bar directly up there. And at that hot bar, you do happen to have like a register, right? Let's say if you get like a coffee or whatnot or whatever, there's a certain section directly over there where they have, let's say like the pizza, they got the salads and the soups and different things like that. They have their own cash registers, right? Because that is a separate area. You got the grocery, you got the specialty, you got the hot bar, you got this and that, right? So the rest of the normal part of the store, they deal with the main cash registers that you see. The main checkouts, the hot bar section, basically the kitchen area, they have their own areas of which you go to and specifically pay there. And once you pay there, you can sit down and eat because in Whole Foods, they got sit down areas where you can eat. So for a lot of people coming up here to, oh, you just being a victim, he probably stole it. He ain't steal nothing because I've eaten at Whole Foods before. I've sat up there and bought my food and decided to sit up there and eat directly at my job. What we talking about? Like I said, a lot of y'all trolls and clowns directly out here are showing exactly who you are because primarily the main people that like to come through there and steal at Whole Foods are white. But y'all don't want to talk about that though. Y'all don't want to talk about how you got these Whole Foods in these rich, nice white communities, and it's y'all that roll directly up in there stealing. Y'all want to steal spices. Y'all want to steal eggs and whatnot. Because like I said before, I didn't have the conversations with people that are the higher ups, you want to say, either by like a manager, store manager, or whatnot, or whatever. They don't specifically want to say the color, right? Because we're not supposed to do that, supposedly. But yes, it be y'all sitting up there stealing. And like I said, it was more than likely the white dude that was over there just laying down. He was probably the one that sat up there and stole something from a hot bar. I done showed y'all a video 2 or 3 years ago where it was this older white dude, probably about 60 or 70. He was going through the soup section in the hot bar, and he was just sitting up there opening stuff. He was like, "Oh, this is a lid of soup. Let me get the ladle and let me just sip some of this." I'm talking about he's drinking directly from the ladle and dipping it back in, closing it, going to the next soup. That is stealing. That is stealing. But do you think this security team that they have at this Whole Foods decided to pull up to the scene and stop that man? No, they didn't. They just had it recorded. So like I said, they acted this way because the guy is black. Like I said, can't nobody tell me that because I actually worked here. Unlike most people that want to sit up there and leave a comment and say some dumb stuff. Crazy work. And then on top of that, some of the most belligerent people I've ever seen are white folks. There was a day that me and my team was about to go in there and start work. We were in the cash out line. It was about like close to 10. We were about to, clock in and stuff. So we're waiting in line. And the guy at the cash register, he's black. And this white woman, she just wanted to make this type of spectacle or whatnot about her Confederate hat and whatnot and all this other type of stuff. Also, mind you, this woman is drunk. So not only is she wearing a Confederate flag and wanted to make a spectacle so that black people can sit up there and make a comment and rah, 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 but she was also drunk driving. That's another thing that white people don't want to talk about in their communities, right? So she's trying to make this spectacle, like, oh, I love this hat, it's always been in my family. Like, just start random conversation. Again, the black dude was not really trying to conversate with her. It's like, hey, how are you doing? That type of thing, because we get critiqued on how it is that we interact with the customer. We're always supposed to say hello, hi, introduce ourselves, tell them like, how may I be of service? All of those good things, right? So he did everything to a T. She decided she wanted to start talking about a hat that didn't nobody care about but her. And you can smell the alcohol directly off of her breath. And then she went, oh, I didn't know. I just, is this hat really a problem? I didn't know. I don't know if it's racist or not. I don't know if it's problematic or not. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Just buy your stuff and get out of the store. We don't care about your hat. We're not trying to have a conversation, but yet you want to sit up there and try to start something for no reason. You want to try to antagonize. You want to try to press something that don't need to be pressed. But like I said, this is what white people like to sit up there and do when it just so happens that black people are around. Y'all like to sit up there and do stuff like that. But 9 times out of 10, when it's your own people stealing from your stores, that is causing shrink for the uneducated people out there. Shrink is basically the losses. So that either details in people that either stole or people that might have opened a product or products that may have been broken. Right. That is the shrink. That is the stuff that has to get, just discounted and put away and, taken out of the monies and all that other type of good stuff. Again, all of that stuff, no matter which way it goes, it costs the store money. But the craziest part of knowing that white people roll in there literally stealing spices. What is wrong with y'all? What is wrong with y'all? Y'all barely even use spices on your food, but you up here in Whole Foods stealing spices. What are we doing? What are we doing? Like, you got that much money that you're broke? Like, what? Like, huh? What are we? Huh? Crazy work. But like I said, they would never, the same exact way security pulled up to that black guy, they would never pull up to a white man in that way. The same way that the manager at that time that was talking to the black guy and trying to say like, oh yeah, we know that you steal because security, and security came up. It was like, yeah, we didn't steal nobody unless we actually know. So we didn't tell nobody nothing. So somebody who's lying? Who's lying? Because obviously the only person telling the truth here is the black man. Somebody between management and the security is lying. Who is it? Because at this moment in time, I'm looking at a handy dandy lawsuit. And I feel as though that this man who recorded this 11-minute clip needs to go directly and find a lawyer and needs to sue Whole Foods for racial discrimination. Because that's crazy to me. That is 100% crazy. And if he stole something, then how was he able to get a refund then? He got a refund for every single item that he bought to the T. So what was it that he stole again? And again, who was it that relayed that information? Because I want to let people know, right? The camera system that Whole Foods has, they have a specific area of which people are able to watch those cameras. They can sit directly at a desk and they can watch those cameras. You can do it in one of two areas that they have directly at Whole Foods, right? Because the managers, the higher up the store owner, they can sit up there and watch the cameras. And then you have another area where people are able to also tap in and watch the cameras as well too. So again, somebody knows who said that somebody was stealing. And obviously, no, those people don't need to be on loss prevention at all, because you more than likely actually missed the real culprit because you wanted to focus on what a black dude was doing, knowing the fact that he didn't steal nothing. He even had Whole Food stuff that was wrapped. What are we doing? What are we doing? So because he stopped at the hot bar with his basket and he decided that he wanted to eat something that he just bought, literally, now he's up there for stealing? And people wonder why it is that a lot of black people don't like going into brick and mortar stores no more. It's always because we happen to get racially profiled, even though the primary thief is nobody that looks like us. That's crazy. That's some crazy work. And like I said before, at the Whole Foods I worked at, where there were primarily white people in that community and coming directly to that store, we've had to have called the police before to investigate what took place because it was somebody white that did it. Just imagine that. Because all the time they always want to, it's these blacks. Oh, they're stealing from the stores. They're causing all of these stores to close and all of these. There's not enough black people in the United States. There's not enough black people in the United States to literally cause all of these stores to file for bankruptcy, to shut their doors, to shrink the amount of stores that they have across the United States. We do not make up the majority of the United States. We do not make up the majority when it deals with buying from these places. We do not make up the majority when it deals with the workers and when it deals with the owners and when it deals with the amount of losses, the millions of dollars that these businesses end up taking per year. But like I said, somebody has to be the poster child for something, and 9 times out of 10 it's going to be somebody black. It's going to be somebody black. Gil's egg says you said they stealing spices and don't even season their food. That's facts. They don't. Like, they literally don't. Like, the most, even on TikTok, the most that I've really seen ordinary basic white people do, they will use some salt, they will use some pepper. In other instances, people are like, no, we just put the chicken or whatnot directly on a grill and we allow the char to be the seasoning. I'm like, you have to be kidding me. I'm like, that's diabolical. I'm like, just say that you don't know how to season. Just say that you don't got a taste for it. It's cool. But it's crazy to me that, you know, you did all of this work to conquer areas of where people had these seasonings and things naturally to not use them. What are we doing? Like, how does that work? It would be beyond me to conquer a land and to not implement any of the things that those people were naturally doing or have directly into the whole of that society. That's some crazy work right there. That is 100% some crazy work right there. But like I said, it is what it is. It is what it is. The Jomo said jealousy anytime they see a black person living good, it triggers them. Yep. Sham said from time to time they might throw a bay leaf in a pot. Yeah. Or I give them this, right? When it becomes like with spaghetti, they might, a bay leaf or something like that, and they'll put like some seasoning, which it ain't really seasoning. They'll put some shredded mozzarella when it deals with, spaghetti. That's the most seasoning that you'll realistically, see. Because if anybody is actually eating at a potluck or anything like that, when it deals with white people, it is very bland. If people get offended, that is not my problem. Take it up with God, because obviously in the whole entirety of him allowing you to control and rule over people for whatever reason that you didn't assimilate, that is crazy to me. That is a travesty. That is a travesty. The rare few white people that are able to actually season are down south, or some of those that have married interracially. Or the very rare third option would be those who were adopted by black people. Those are the 3 only times that you will actually see white people actually use seasoning. And this is primarily why the viewership actually dropped, because a lot of those white people that were watching and wanted to leave comments, they ducked directly out because they knew exactly what it was. They got a whole kitchen cabinet full of spices, ain't never been touched since 1974. Diabolical work. That is crazy. That is crazy. There's no reason that a turkey or a piece of chicken or macaroni should ever be bland. I'm like, you don't even use salt. It's quite reflective in nature, but I don't understand why you don't use it. That's some crazy work right there. Like the macaroni and cheese be bland. Better yet, it just be like some Velveeta with a block. You don't even take the work out to pick out some cheese to mix and match, maybe some 3 cheeses just to spice it up and throw, some salt and pepper in there. If you don't want to season the macaroni, you can just season the water. You can throw enough salt directly in there where you can get, that taste of salt, that hint of salt directly there. So then when you throw in the shredded cheese and melt that and everything and throw in some butter, you're good. You good. But, like I said, I guess that's a little bit too difficult for people. It's crazy. Gail says, Seji, don't forget to slather it with cheese. They'll put cheese on ice cream. Yeah. The craziest report that I ever had to do, I sound like this because I'm eating right now, but craziest report I ever had to do was the fact that white people made mayo ice cream. They made ice cream that tastes like mayo. Never in my life. Never in my life. That is disturbing. You got Hellman's flavored ice cream. Why? Like, you're literally making stuff that nobody asked for. Like I said, ain't nobody black sitting up there. If somebody black is actually eating that, they got to be horribly obese. I'm talking about like morbidly. I'm talking about you need a flatbed to move that person from one place to another. I'm talking about they would have to have a super industrial toilet that would be able to, hold an elephant. Other than that, ain't nobody black sitting up there eating that and buying that. That is disturbing. That is 100% disturbing. Don't set marinated in milk and a glass of milk before bed. I don't even know what marinated milk is. That's crazy. D-Money said never eat the casserole at a potluck. I don't eat none of that. So out of this whole thing, John was like, one race equals human race. I guess so. But the cooking, no, that's not human. I'm sorry. We're not doing that. Like I said, I got a video where a European woman was in the UK, bought or stole a pack of beef, right? Pack of beef, and she's up there in the streets, tore it directly out the package and just started eating it in the streets. No, we're not doing that, John. Whatever you say is whatever you say. That's cool for you. We're not doing that. I've never in my life went to the store and started eating beef directly out the wrapper, off of the diaper that it is. That is, I don't even know what type of madness that is. That's a craze killer to me. That is a craze killer. Craze killer. Like I said, in order to find black people doing that, they have to be on like some type of psych trip. Like they have to be horribly off of their meds to see somebody black doing something like that on the streets. And again, I've never seen that. And down from where I lived, we used to actually have like a little ward where, some of the crazy people would be at the moment in time. And then they shut that down because they didn't want all of those people being released and being around the neighborhood and all this other type of stuff. But yeah, I never seen them doing that. We had stores directly in the area. We had a corner store and we had $2 stores directly up there. I ain't never seen none of them do that. Now they might do some other stuff like, going to the bathroom, but that is the most. Sam said, why do they like mayo so much? I do not know. Senna said there's multiple, what's the names every day? I'm not sure what that from it. Wait, from what? You said, Sergio, I think I got a hot one for you. There's a big gang war in Oakland and Oklahoma City, and at least 10 people are not here anymore. Can you do a segment on your own people? Because it's bad. So you want me to do a segment because I'm primarily talking about white people at this moment in time, and this is off of the issue of a black man getting racially profiled at a Whole Foods, of which he was a customer. He bought everything, had a receipt, and because he was racially profiled, he was like, okay, I don't want none of this stuff. I'm returning all of it. I want every single cent, red cent of my money. back. So because I'm doing that and I'm talking directly off of that point and listening in real world experience and all this other type of stuff, you're like, yo, Sedge, you need to start talking about your own people. I've been done that. Like it's crazy to me when a lot of people don't like what it is that I'm talking about, and they be like, yo, you need to start talking about the blacks. You got a platform, you need to start using it, helping out your. I've been doing that. I've also done the same thing for white people. I've done that for Asian people. I've done that for Latin people. Done that for African people, Europeans. So what's the hard pressing issue here? Like that's crazy. Like if you really, Senna, if you actually really cared about it that much, I would actually expect you to bring it up and talk about it. Like if you feel like it's such a pressing issue that it should be highlighted and it should be talked about, you should start up a platform and start talking about it. Everybody got a TikTok right now. People got stuff moving and booming and all this other type of stuff. Even if it's 5 to 10 or 100 views, it's still moving out there somewhere. A lot of people got an X account moving and booming, some of which are directly up here on my platform that listen to me every single day. I seen Solo up there a variety of times. Dude up there, tooth and nail, sitting up there bringing awareness stuff, going, back and forth with, people in the comment section and many more people like Hood Mistress and so on and so on. Other people got IG's accounts and all this other type of stuff. Like I said, it's a little bit confusing to me when people feel like an issue is so pressing that it matters to them that I need to sit up there and highlight and talk about it, when these are things that I've highlighted and talked about for the longest time possible since I've been doing this. And then I have to sit up there and ask, realistically, how long have you even been listening to this channel? Because I'm like, you want me to rehash the same thing that I've talked about before? That, like, what? But the biggest gangs that I've talked about have been in the United States, Democrat, Republican, the United States government, the police, and many other more, the elites, all of that stuff. But no, you're like, no, Seji, you need to sit up there and specifically talk about your own people. Stop talking about, white people. Matter of fact, why does everything have to be about race? It's crazy. Shout out to Dre for the $5 dono. Said had a similar issue in Seattle in a store for less than 2 minutes and had a Mexican armed security guard following me. That's crazy. I'm happy that you're here at this moment in time, because usually in those extents, when people are armed, people will make very stupid decisions, meaning the security, and things will happen. Like I said, I got the video of a black man that was a homeless black man that was in a McDonald's, and the African security guard who was armed decided that he wanted to antagonize the homeless black guy. He was like, yo, what are you doing? What are you doing? That you have a weapon. You have a weapon. Like, he was trying to talk as if he's a cop. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? I'm like, this is why I don't like, like foreigners and shit being like security and shit, because they start acting crazy. Real crazy. I'm like, dog, you're an African security guard. You literally just got off of the boat. You see a black homeless dude in the McDonald's, not bother nobody. You want to come over to him because he has a walking stick or a cane. You want to claim that that's a weapon, and you want to start trying to antagonize, pull it away, and fight him directly for it. And then you wanted to cause a reaction so that you can pull out your weapon, and then you can sit up there and take him out, which the African security guard did. For no reason. For no reason. That homeless black man had every right to sit up there and defend himself from that security guard. But like I said, now you got a black man out here that lost his life. There we go. It's crazy work. Who was it? You said, have you eaten raw sushi? Okay, Am. What's your point? What's the point? Yes, I eat sushi. And what's the point? What does that have to do with anything that we're currently talking about at this moment in time? Sham said it's crazy how people can look at a whole human being and think that they're disposable. Yeah, they only do it when it's black people. Because everybody else out here has a value when it deals with white folks and their children and family and everything like that. You have people of every race going out there to risk their lives to go save a white kid if anything took place. Now, when it deals with black kids, nah. Because like I said, somebody literally did an experiment over there in Europe, and they showed you a little black girl that for all intents and purposes, that was just out there. You didn't see her parents or family, anything like that. And she was out there at a park bench, and you just saw white folks. They were just like moving to and from. They didn't even sit up there and care. Even other people of other races moving to and from, they saw it, but they didn't care. But the moment of time that you put a little white girl out there, instantly you saw people like, yo, are you okay? Are you safe? Are your parents around? Do you know anybody around here? Do you know your name? Do you know your number? Your birthday? Hold right here. We're going to get security. We're going to sit up there and call the police. We're going to make sure to get this thing cleared up and fixed, because we're not going to allow you, a little white girl, to be out here by yourself in this world. And you literally saw people formulating a circle, and everybody was just there. But when it dealt with the young black girl, that none of that was happening. Nobody cared. So like I said, people can miss me with that whole thing of people being human beings and all that other type of stuff. It's crazy. It's diabolical. We got Shem said, okay. Gail said, you eat raw sushi. What else do you see? Gail, I've been set up there. And so, Gail, first of all, you've been here for years. You've seen me eat sushi before. I've literally eaten that directly on stream. Like I said, culture-wise, I eat from different cultures because the food is great. Food is good. Like I said before, and I've stated this a multitude of times on this channel. Stated that. The only things I don't do is that I don't drink and I don't smoke. And again, like I told other people, that's not to it's not against anybody else. That's just personally not something that I delve into. That's not anything personally that I just do. Right. To anybody else that likes to sit up there and do it, by all means, go out there and do you and enjoy life. That's just not something that's a part of me, or at least right now. So Gail is hilarious. Sham said, I eat raw sushi and I make it myself too. I like tuna and salmon. Yeah, same here. You said I prefer tempura maki rolls with shrimp. Have I tried that? I'm not sure. Just don't do the sea urchin. That is acquired taste. Don't do it. Nothing wrong with it. Just dip it in vinegar and soy. Okay. Golden said raw fish has worms. I get that. I 100% get that. And this is what I want to sit up there and state, right? All the times that I've reported on foods, the main things that I've heard people dying from fast food. I've heard people dying from ice cream. I've heard people dying and getting sick directly from ground beef. Like just take a look at all of the food recalls that we've had. Everything was infected. You had every single vegetable damn near, every type of meat. You even had oats and nuts that were directly up there. So it's like, I'm trying to figure out what the problem is, because I'm like, the ordinary food that you go to the store at this moment of time could literally within 5 seconds to 5 minutes be on the FDA list as you don't want to sit up there and buy this right now because of listeria or salmonella or E. coli. Like, it's like that's my whole thing. Like, I'm not really worried. I'm not really concerned. I've been pretty good at this moment of time. There's also another thing that people also say do, which is, deworm or cleanse or all this other type of stuff. So again, I know full well the potentiality of what it is that I decide to sit up there and eat. Now, we'll sit up there and say this. If I decide to do that, it's not going to cause harm to anybody, right? But a lot of people happen to drink. And what do a lot of people like to do when they drink? They also like to drive. How many people do you got suffering from DUIs at this moment in time? Lost family members. Like, you got seas of people that are buried. Their bodies are in the morgue at this moment in time. How many people have literally lost children because of a drunk driver? Because that's something that people like to delve directly into, knowing what it can lead to, knowing what it can cause. And 9 times out of 10, guess what? That drunk driver is going to survive. You won't. The government is literally poisoning, as I've told y'all before, literally poisoning all of the food that you sit up there and eat. And people are, in a sense, for all intents and purposes, afraid of what, worms and food? Huh? You literally got colors out here, that chemical colors that they put together in labs that can give you Alzheimer's or dementia over time. They can cause blood disorders. They can cause the IQ decrease in children. They can cause emotional imbalances, blood disorders, respiratory disorders. They can cause you to not be able to produce, right? Affecting your reproduction. So all of these chemicals in food that people eat every single day, and people are worried about worms? Huh? I'm a little bit confused. Ty says, Seji, I ever showed you my sushi plate when I was a chef? No, you never showed me that. River said, yet Europeans tell their children, quote, if you're lost, find a black person while our babies get overlooked. Yeah, and I got videos of that too. I even got an Indian guy where his mother told him the exact same thing. He's Indian. I'm talking about Indian from India. And his mother told him the exact same thing. So there obviously has to be something there. Senna says, Seji, I didn't get a chance to hear your response for my comment because I had to wash off dirt off my dirt, but I don't know how to make my own channel nor the time because I work a lot. Everybody got time. It just depends on what you want to put in time on. Like if you got time for a relationship, like just think about all the times that you've been working. How many times you done spent going out to clubs, spending time with friends, drinking, smoking, if you do, doing all other types of stuff that's not really doing anything. Everybody, if people are honest, everybody has spent time on other things that don't mean anything. I've done it. So then that's me sitting up there being honest, sitting up there literally saying that. Right? If I decide to sit up there and sleep, how is that benefiting me at all? It's not benefiting me. I'm not making no money. I'm not able to produce any type of content, nothing like that. Right? Or if I happen to, focus on like other things, again, that's not sitting up there making me, no type of money. That's not helping me, decide to make content. But I still decide to do it because that's something that I want to sit up there and do. And again, that's me, the talking head up here, being honest, being transparent. But a lot of other people can't decide to be transparent because everybody decides that they want to, try to look or make themselves seem perfect, which makes no sense. Because I'm like, that's crazy to me. It's diabolical work. River said, I worked in the healthcare system, food service system, and education system. It doesn't matter what you tell a patient about changing their ways. Once a month in the ER, I see them. I think that's pronounced what, Luciano? Yeah, you said Lucia, Toronto, Canada. Yeah, I don't even know what that is. I'm not sure if you shout out your family or not. I don't know what that is. The general said food coloring chemicals are called azo dyes. Yellow 5 is also called tarazine. The US used to give food a yellow food coloring. Yep. Golden Brown said, don't eat processed food and read the labels. No, Golden Brown, trust me, I get what it is that you're saying, but this is what I'm trying to tell you. They're poisoning literally the soil. So even if you're growing your own food in your backyard, guess what? You're still taking in chemicals, right? Look at the chemtrails, and I get that some people are, chemtrails aren't real. Those are contrails. That's the hot air coming directly from the jets, and it is condensing in the water vapor. And okay, whatever, right? Because people don't want to believe that the government is trying to depopulate, do any of this stuff, right? If you look at the chemtrails, and I've seen this, a lot of other people have talked about it. Some who are more wealthier and have way more, power directly out here, talked about these things, mention these things, showcase these things. I even have videos that showcase this, right? But irregardless, if they're throwing, all of these metals and whatnot, whatever, into the air, guess what's going to happen? That's going to rain down into the clouds. What do the clouds normally turn into by way of seeding, by way of the U.S. government or HARP? Those clouds turn directly into rain, into storm cells. What happens with the storm cells? All of that stuff is going to rain back down. It's not going to keep those heavy elements directly in those clouds because they're heavier than the things that it takes to produce those clouds. So it's going to rain down upon all of us. This is why I talk about East Palestine, Ohio, and a chemical bomb explosion that went off during that time. And just so happens during that time, guess what we had? We had a storm cell, a heavy storm cell, very large storm coverage. So all of the chemicals that were released went directly into those clouds and it rained directly back. How do I know that it rained directly back? Because I showcase videos where people were going to the creeks. And even though the creeks look clear, once they disturbed the soil on the bottom, you saw all of those chemicals rise up. It looked like a giant chemical oil slick. So if it's in the creek water, it's in the soil. If it's in the soil, whatever you're growing is going to be within that as well too. So like I said, it don't matter where you go, they're making sure everything gets hit. Everything. Senna said, but it's all good. One of many said, nothing really matters because not even experience, knowledge, or wisdom gained can be taken after death. Nothing really matters. Sam said, I just had a white man come to the door trying to sell me ice cream. I don't know what to think. I didn't open the door and I never seen someone selling ice cream. Yeah, I wouldn't even trust that. I've never seen that before in my life. I would not ever trust anybody going door to door selling ice cream. Now, I say that, but yet at a certain point in time, if the Girl Scouts came to the door with those cookies, I'm buying those cookies. I don't know what to tell you. Like I said, something's in those Girl Scout cookies. I don't know what it is, but those cookies are great. And the amount of money that they can make in about 4 to 5 months is insane. Crazy work. They can literally make enough money in 4 to 5 months and they can be off the rest of the year. Insane work. Insane. One of many said, yes, everything is contaminated. Miss Rivers said the soil is bad now. Gotta find untouched land. That's going to be very tough. Like I said, if you look at HARP and you look at the world governments directly out there, they're trying to touch everything. Again, they polluted the oceans. Remember those oil spills? We had an oil spill in the Northern Sea, and then we also had an oil spill in the Gulf, and then we also had a boat or something that happened at one point. We had quite a few oil spills directly over in that water. So that water is polluted. And then if you want to look at the other side of the ocean, remember we had the radioactive water that was being released from a nuclear plant into the Pacific Ocean. Right? We had all of that getting dumped directly into that ocean. And they were stating at one point in time that you could trace or find the residuals of that radioactive waste on the coast of California. So if it traveled from Japan to California, it's throughout that whole ocean over there. No matter how large or how small it is, it's there. Right? Like I said, it's crazy. Sham said, same thing if you live near factories and etc. The air pollution eventually ends up being chemical runoff. Plants do filter quite a bit, but there are some toxins that cannot be filtered. Sham, the funniest thing of you mentioning that just brought up from memory of a video that I showed about 2.5 years ago, where you have this small black town that lives literally near a factory, and all of the chemical air rains, it comes across over the black area. And I'm like, that's bad. And over in that area, those people are suffering from a lot of respiratory issues and cancer. So like I said, they can probably filter off some stuff, but they're making sure to do what it is that they want to do, which is to get rid of those people there. And it's crazy work. Crazy work. Gail said, I don't know why I said that. White folks have torn this world up. They are the anti-life equation. Oh, she went a dark side out there. Cold-blooded. Golden said, yes, the FDA is useless. Yeah, because they're bought and paid for. That is 100% facts. Ty said, oh yeah, don't buy them cookies. Oh, that's cold-blooded, Ty. Why we can't buy the cookies? Hold on. All right, my bad. Let me see. Hack said Chips Ahoy is greater than Girl. I mean, I eat Chips Ahoy as well too. I haven't had Girl Scout cookies in years. That's the thing. So I haven't had them, since I was younger. Like back during you had the Scholastic school books school book days and you know and stuff like that. So it's been a long time. Ms. Rivers said, yes, back in the days, the Swanson man came by with the ice cream truck. See, I'm used to ice cream trucks. I'm also used to in Detroit, we used to have like Mr. Softy, and they would normally have at night. If anybody from Detroit was back during that time, it was a certain ice cream truck. It was it was larger than normal. It was a Mr. Softy. It would play like the rap songs there, and they would have the ice cream, both in cup form, soft served, cones. They would also have cotton candy. They would have nachos and they would have popcorn. Like literally, this truck had everything directly on it. I'm like, yo, this is wild. I'm like, I've never seen anything like this before. And it was like, like I said, great times. Great times. And primarily you would only see stuff like this in black neighborhoods. I've never seen a white neighborhood where you had an ice cream truck like that. That was just like going around and it was literally an all-in-one, a one-stop shop. Never seen it. Never seen it. But like I said, shout out to black neighborhoods, no matter what people say. Sham said, I didn't see a truck. He's on foot with a cooler. I mean, yo, that dude could be a very hard-working person, but yeah, that's dangerous. That's some diabolical stuff right there. I ain't trusting that one. I'm sorry. I'm not trusting that one. As River said, like I said, untouched land. He says something was as bad to man doing a bad job on man. Okay, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. One of many said that's why the health nuts annoy me. Everything is contaminated. Nothing is actual healthy. Yeah, and then on top of that, everything is, you got a lot of things that is GMO, like it's bioengineered. It's not even the actual thing that it used to be, because it's to the point now where they're just taking the seeds out of everything so that you can't grow your own stuff. So pretty much everything that you're going to get is going to be male, right? You're not going to have the seeds where you can just put them boys directly down there and just have everything grow and formulate your own thing. Same thing with bananas, because bananas actually have seeds. At one point in time, I remember when I was younger, the bananas had smaller seeds. So they technically still did have seeds in there. Now it ain't nothing. One of many said Cancer Alley. Yep. Ty said check your Xbox messages. Let me see if I open this up. It might try to go a little bit high on me. We'll see. Let's see if I can get my controller real quick. Ty sent a message 4 minutes ago. Let me see this real quick. Oh, this man sent like a field of messages. Yo, this man Ty out here cooking. Yo, that is crazy, man. Let me tell you something. If you had a restaurant, I'd be broke. Brother, if I had, like, yo, if you literally had a restaurant, I would be broke. I would be broke. Like, that is crazy. Yo, the presentation on that is insane. Some of that I've probably never tried before, but I'm like, yo, that presentation is crazy. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you got that. You did that, man. You did that. You got that, brother. Let me tell you. That is that's crazy. I'm almost tempted to want to not DoorDash, want to Uber eat some sushi. That's yo. Let me like I said, shout out to Ted. Shout out to that man. That is crazy, man. And the funny thing is, that's something I always wanted to do, because I feel like if I eat certain foods, I should know how to prepare and also cook them myself. You know, I just never decided to do it. I'm just gonna blame laziness of not wanting to do it. You know, it's crazy. Senna said, and I feel you on a healthcare machine was created by a black man in Chicago, I think, but they stole the blueprint. So I get it, Seji, and things won't get better. But hey, do you, bro? I'm out, and I apologize. No, ain't nothing to apologize for. It's a simple conversation. Now I will sit up there and say at certain points in time, if I look at things a certain type of way, I will react a certain type of way. But no, everything was pretty much a standard issue. conversation. Wasn't nobody, disrespectful on, on either side. Again, like I tell people, it just goes to the point of hearing things for like so long, you automatically have a reaction directly to it. So, but like I said, it's all love. Like I said, I get you. But also, it's more on the fact that I do want people to go out there and start doing some stuff. Because I feel like a lot of people have voices. A lot of people are smarter than me. I'm like, yo, go show that brightness or whatnot directly out there. You never know what can transpire, what can happen, what doors, can be opened at a moment in time that you decide to, put yourself directly out there. But yeah, shout out to Senna. Shout out. Ty said Girl Scout cookies are overrated. I mean, yeah. I mean, it still tastes good though. Ms. Rivers said correction. The C is not doing well. Okay, I got you. Ty said they put crack in them. That's why y'all keep going back. Yeah, they put something in there. It's good. I'm telling you. Senna said for intro, ain't nothing to be sorry about. Like I said, it's conversations. I go through and I read, or at least I try to read everybody's conversations. So, Rivers said the Girl Scout cookies are loaded with chemicals. I believe it because that's why they taste good. Trust me. Most said my grandmother stayed by a paper mill in Louisiana and it smelled like doo all day. I believe it. Sham said I seen too many horror films. White man with a cooler selling ice cream. I felt if I opened the door, I was going to be in that cooler. If he had a little girl, I still wouldn't open that door. Yeah, you got to stay safe. Self-preservation is key. Rivers said I had Mr. Softly too, and I am from NYC. Okay, I got you. Rivers said the Swanson man was in Texas and he had meat too. Yeah, I'm not sure what that meat was because didn't the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Yeah, that happened down there, right? Where we had the whole family and the town that were directly, for all intents and purposes, in on it. And I think what was it? They were making like chili or something down there, and they would always win. And nobody found that suspicious. Like, yo, how is the meat that they produce always so great? Like, what are they specifically doing? Yeah, and then people found out. So it's a lot of people down there, some cannibals. Crazy work. Brown said you must be young with a sweet tooth like that. I mean, I guess. I'll take it. I'll take it. I will take the youthfulness that you say that I am. I will completely take it 100%. Sham said you can buy non-GMO seeds from Baker Seeds. Their plants grow really well. I use them in my garden. That's dope. Okay. Sham said, though, if you go non-GMO route, be sure to plant lots of spices to ward off pets because insects love non-GMO. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they will sit up there and go after those type of plants, especially if they're not, genetically modified to basically resist or taste bad to those insects that want to go directly after them. Let me see. Ty said he hasn't made anything special in years. Yeah, that's true. That is 100% facts. Like I said, that's why we love Gail here because Gail is just that person to just give love and support. Let me tell you, every time. Let me tell you. Let me see. Let me go back up. Make sure I ain't missed nothing. Yeah, I knew I missed something. Mo said can't drink water from the faucet anymore. Missed the days of drinking from the water hose in the summer. Yeah, I missed that too. Because I kid you not, it's something different when you got the water that's in your house versus the water that's outside. And then you got to wait like a minute or so for the hot water to basically go directly out. And then you'll start getting that crystal clear cold water directly out the water hose. And that's something like, as guys, that's something that we would always do. It didn't matter whose house it was. We were either drinking out of the hose or directly from that faucet outside. And it's crazy. It's like I feel like we drank more water outside than we did indoors. Crazy stuff. Because it was like we were always at the water hose. Like people would be like taking turns on like the water hose, trying to sit up there and like get some water real quick. Especially if you're playing touch football or playing tag, playing basketball or whatever it is. Pick up. It's crazy work. I think that was the only one that I actually missed. So let me scroll back down. So let me see. Oh, Cyril. Sham said, I don't know if it's because I'm older or what, but fruit tastes awful. Yeah, no, it's not just you. I remember when fruit used to taste like sweet candy and now it tastes awful. Yeah. That's because they changed a lot of stuff. It's because they changed a lot of stuff. Gail was like, I'm through with you. It's hilarious. Hilarious. But yeah, technically, guys, that is actually it. We actually went through all of the videos and had quite a few conversations in between. Those videos was Shem said we was locked out majority of the time. As soon as those temps rose high enough, we were locked outside. I was never locked outside, but my mom would always tell me, it was like, yo, if you going outside, you staying outside. Unless you got to go to the bathroom, you staying directly outside. If you come in, you staying there. It was always those type of rules. So if you were going outside, you made sure to stay directly out there unless you were coming back because you were hungry. Like if you were hungry and had to go to the bathroom, that was it. Like that, you're completely fine and dandy, on that. I feel like it became easier to stay outside once you got to being like a preteen or a teenager because you can move around past the block. You could just like walk around. You can go to the park. You can go to a friend's house or whatnot or whatever. So there was more areas, in a sense, adventure directly to versus if you were younger. If you were younger, you might have been able to go over like one person's house. Shout out to like Antoine because that was one of my boys during the time, and went over to his house and we would play the 64 and and stuff like that. But yeah. But yep, that is pretty much it there, folks. Pretty much it. Let me see what we got at the moment and time. 15. Okay, that's not. Oh wait, that's not even the actual live stream. Let me see what we got over here in the corner. Okay, we did pretty well. Did pretty well. But yeah, like I told people before, any of the things, the topics and videos that we've gone directly over, we will have those in a shorter format for those who would like to view it that way instead of sitting directly through how long have we been on for? About like 3 hour and 26-minute live stream. So we will have that directly up there for you. And Ty said, wait, Seji. Woodman's River said nothing tastes the same nowadays, so I stick to what I know food wise. Yeah, pretty much I do the same thing too. I do the exact same thing too. Ty was like, disregard. I literally had paused for a minute. I was like, all right, let me see what Ty's going to sit up there and write real quick. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Everything will be posted in a shorter form video, and I'll give my opinion either on one of the videos or I might read a whole different story that's has nothing to do with any of the videos directly up there. So as always, much love, respect, and appreciation. Shout out to any and all of you guys who have gone out of the way to donate to the platform one way or another. Shout out and much love to all of my moms directly out there, to all of my patrons directly out there, and to anybody else that has donated by way of Cashapp or way by the channel as well, because I would not be able to do the things that I do without people like you. So much love. Love you guys a lot, and you are free. So, go out there and have some fun, play some games, catch up on some movies, watch some Daredevil or something like that, Disney Plus, or catch up on some Dragon Ball Z, some anime, whatnot. Or the brand new games you got, Assassin's Creed, and, and different things of that nature. So I will see you guys on the next video and or live stream. Peace. Gail was like, we love you, Seji. I love you guys too. Love you guys too. Shan was like, stay safe, eat well, guys. No April 5th. That's bars. No April 5th. No April 5th. Yep, that's bars. Let me just leave that directly up there. As Sham said, stay home April 5th. That's bars. That is bars. And I'm about to sit up here and finish up my chicken nuggets. Peace out.